Last Raps Baseball is on the air, and tonight we are bringing you live commentary from the Nippon Professional Baseball League between the Orix Buffaloes and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters. Ohayou gozaimasu, konnichiwa, konbanwa. Welcome everybody to Last Raps Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. The commentary and views are our opinions and are not affiliated with the NPB, Pacific League, Central League, or their sponsors. We are giving English reports on the game being played and hope that English-speaking fans around the globe can enjoy the game on YouTube and Twitch along with us. Tonight, from the Obihiro Nomori Stadium in Hokkaido, it is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters hosting the Orix Buffaloes. This is the second game in the two-game set. Last night's game was shortened because there were no lights at the stadium that they were playing at, and the game ended in a tie at 0-0 through 7 innings. And so we'll give you first the starting lineup for the visitors from Osaka, the Orix Buffaloes. Leading off and playing in left field is number 1, Shuhei Fukuda. Batting second and in center field is number 10, Koji Oshiro. Hitting third and right field is number 67, Kai Nakagawa. And in the cleanup spot, doing the designated hitting is number 7, Masataki Yoshida. Batting fifth at first base is number 44, Yuma Tongu. Hitting sixth at third base is number 6, Yuma Mune. Batting seventh and doing the catching is number 2, Kenya Wakatsuki. Batting eighth and playing second base, wearing number 36, is Tetsuya Yamashita. And batting ninth and playing shortstop is number 24, Kotaro Kobayashi. And they are going to be facing Kenta Uehara, who takes to the mound. The lefty is 3-4 on the year. He's got 64 and a third innings pitched. He's allowed 62 hits, 21 runs, all of which have been earned. He's walked 18 and struck out 51. He's got an ERA of 2.94. So now the starting lineup for the home team for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, leading off and playing third base, wearing number 60 is Takuya Kori. Batting second and playing second base, wearing number 6 is Arizmendi Alcantara. Heading third and right field, wearing number 66 is Chusei Manami. In the cleanup spot and doing the catching is number 27, Yudai Furukawa. Batting fifth and playing shortstop is number 4, Daigo Kamikawa Kabata. Batting sixth in left field is number 8, Kensuke Kondo. Batting seventh and doing the designated hitting is number 12, Go Matsumoto. Hitting eighth and playing first base is number 21, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Batting ninth in center field is number 61, Yuma Imagawa. And they are going to be facing Daichi Takayasu, who is 2-0 on the year. And he's got 20 innings pitched, allowed 20 hits. He's walked 3 and he's struck out 18. So here we go. Here comes the action. We are underway as the first pitch of the ball game is a fastball that misses down to Fukuda for ball 1, and the count is quickly 1-0. For Fukuda on the year, he's hitting .271. He's got no homers and 18 runs batted in. Digs himself in, left-hander against the left-hander. As the pitcher Uehara delivers, it is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. The ballpark tonight at this particular stadium where they're playing here, it is Obihiro Nomori Stadium, another neutral site game, as there's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to second. Is fielded neatly by the second baseman Alcantara, who throws to first. And that is going to retire Fukuda on a ground out 4-3 for out number 1. The stadium is much like the Hanshin Tigers Stadium at the Koshin Stadium. It's an all-dirt infield. Once you get through the infield, it becomes grass all the way out into the outfield, but all dirt all the way around, no grass in the infield at all. So now coming up to bat is Koji Oshiro. Our friend Mick is in the house, and Joe Mal got in here a little bit earlier. We welcome these guys to the stream. Here comes the first pitch. It's a fastball that misses down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0 to Oshiro. It's kind of a neat-looking stadium. It is windy tonight, but the sun is out. There is cloud in the area, but not like yesterday where it was blowing like crazy and the rain was looming the whole game. As the fastball misses down, and the count's now 2-0 to Oshiro. This ballpark is a Another one of those stadiums that has got no upper deck. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-1. Oshiro hitting .254 with a couple of homers and 4 runs batted in on the year. Batting from the right side against the left-hander Uhara, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now runs even at 2-2. The stadium here is interesting, and when you look at some of these neutral site stadiums and how they're positioned, they get one game a year played there. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's now 3-2. It hosts an official game for Hokkaido once a year. Stadium located in Obihara Nomori Sports Park. And only in the sports park is there the athletic stadium. There's an ice arena, public swimming pool. Capacity, they say, is 23,044, as there's a fastball swung on and fouled away. And the count remains at 3-2. We'll talk about the stadium as we watched yesterday. Yesterday's game was on turf, but it is natural grass, or it looks like natural grass in the outfield, but it's certainly an all dirt infield. And there's a fastball swung on again, fouled away. This time it's going to reach the seats over the first base dugout. And the count remains at 3-2 strikes. Something neat outside the stadium is there's 12 hand-printed representatives of the Golden Players Club for commemorating the stadium being opened in 1990. And here comes the 3-2 pitch to Oshiro as O'Hara delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Oshiro's out for window shopping. He's gone for out number 2 here in the inning, and that's going to bring up the right fielder, Kai Nakagawa. For Nakagawa, he's batting at even 300. He's got a couple of homers and 39 runs batted in. As he steps to the plate, we were talking about the Golden Players Club as an organization for players who've achieved 2,000 hits, 200 wins, or 250 saves in their career. As the lefty O'Hara gets ready to go back to work, and he delivers a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nakagawa. Nakagawa batting from the right side here against the lefty O'Hara, who rocks into the motion and delivers. It's a fastball swung on it, missed, and the count is now 0-2. And including some of those players that are in that club are Sadahara O, Ichiro Suzuki, Hideo Nomo, Hideki Matsui, and their handprints are shined or have been saved out front. There's a fastball swung on it. Has popped up over on the first base side. Moving on underneath it is Kiyomiya. He makes the catch, and that is going to do it here in the first inning. Well, the Buffaloes go in order here in the first. There were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. And now through a half inning, it is the Buffaloes no score. The Fighters coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple moments after this. Welcome back, everybody. Daiki Takusa is getting himself warmed up and ready to go. He's going to face the top of the order. That is going to be Takuya Kori. There is Mindy Alcantara and Chusei Manami. Number of changes, and of course, a lot of shuffling in this Fighters lineup for tonight. You've got the Pacific League batting leader, Go Matsumoto, hitting in the 7th spot tonight. So the big boss manager is flexing his muscle by moving guys all over the place in this lineup. We're talking a little bit about the stadium tonight. Our friend Joe Mao wanting to know if there's no lights. And I think you're onto something, Joe. I think you've got back-to-back games where there's no lights here at all. So be prepared for anything. But it is a beautiful sunny day. So I guess as long as they can do the game here without having to worry about darkness, then they're good to go. The sun is out, but there is some cloud in the area, but not much. As here comes the first offering here from Tagusa as he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. For Corey on the year, he's batting .132. He's got a couple of homers and 6 RBIs. He did not play in yesterday's ball game, as here's the offering. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now quickly 0-2 to Corey. They have the temporary setup for a lot of things. The outfield, where the fans are sitting, it is a grass embankment, and people have their blankets out and they are sitting on that particular embankment. As here's the 0-2 pitch. It's a split figure pitch that misses down. Good job by Corey holding off on the pitch, and the count is now 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. The right-hander Takusa works in the set position. He checks the sign and he goes. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on it. It's broken the bat. It's grounded over to third. Mune fields it across the diamond. And that is going to retire Corey on a ground out 5-3 for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up Bearsmendi Alcantara. The first three hitters in the order tonight did not appear in the game last night, and Alcantara comes to the bat. He's hitting .223. He's got 11 homers and 20 runs batted in. Again, it's a single-seat stadium, or a single-level stadium, I should say. And there's no upper deck here. As we mentioned last night in the stadium where they were playing at, the same thing. There was nothing at the Kashiro Citizen Stadium. It was only the single level, like a bowl or a half bowl. And here comes the pitch to Alcantara. It's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and one strike to Alcantara. He bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Takiusa, who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball. He checks his swing, does the batter Alcantara, but the third base umpire goes up with the right hand, and that's going to run the count to 0-2. Another thing that's also interesting here, the different camera angles on replays and stuff, because it's not a normal stadium that we're used to seeing in the Pacific League or games that would be broadcast in the Central League. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 1-2. So just like last night when they had to review the play, there were angles that maybe the umpires were not used to seeing, or at least getting. As there were a couple of reviews at second base. Our friend Mick says he's got the Buffs, the Hawks, the Lions, and the Giants all on money line. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-2 to Alcantara. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. We had a huge crowd last night in the stream. I'm curious to see if we're going to be able to gather those type of numbers again tonight. Lots of fun. Maybe they got all ticked off after they found out their ticket was blown up after the 7-inning tie, called because of darkness, as a breaking ball misses down, and the count is 3-2, given up on the Japanese League. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alcantara. The right-hander Takasu rocks into the motion, and he kicks and delivers. It is a fastball. Take it for a called third strike. The ball was dropped by the catcher, Wakatsuki, and he applies the tag to Alcantara, who walks back to the dugout in disbelief. He has gone for out number 2. That's going to bring up the right fielder, Chusei Manami. Our friend Mick says 25 to make 275. Yeah, that's pretty good if you can do that. It's not so shabby. It's at 11-1 odds. So now stepping to the plate is Chusei Manami. He's batting .209 on the year, but he's got some pop in the stick. He's got 12 homers to go with 34 runs batted in. He takes the first pitch fastball over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Manami, the other of the top 3 players in the order that did not appear in last night's ball game. As here comes the offering. It's a fastball. It's taken for a called strike. The count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. The big boss did shuffle up the other 6 players, move them down in the batting order, and let's see what kind of combination he can unlock here. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. It's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Manami. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander against the right-hander. Cassiu ready to go again as he rocks and delivers. The pitch is a split finger pitch and misses down, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. In some ways, this stadium almost reminds me of some of the farm stadiums that we see around the league, but obviously with more seating in it. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As the right-hander kicks and he delivers, it is a fastball swung on and missed. Manami is down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning, and that is going to do it here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Well, they picked up these 2 teams where they left off yesterday. 8 scoreless innings now in a row between these 2 clubs over the last 2 days. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 1 complete. It is the Buffaloes nothing and the Fighters nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the top of the 2nd inning after this. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving now to the top of the second inning. It's going to be the heart of the Buffalo batting order coming to bat. And that means it is going to be Masataka Yoshida, Yuma Tongu, and Yuma Mune, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the batting order. It is the left-hander Uhara who is just completing his warm-up tosses as we're ready to resume the action here. As we look around this stadium, as we said, it's an all-dirt infield. Right, straight back behind home plate, there is a grass section between, I'd say, probably about 50 feet from the backstop out, and then it becomes the all dirt as the fastball misses up and into Yoshida. The count is 1 ball and no strikes. Yoshida batting .317 on the year with 14 homers and 60 RBIs. He takes a fastball for a called strike on the inside corner, and the count's now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Jerry Omo says, over or under tonight? Well, before the game started, I thought we were going to be going over, but I said the same thing last night. But the start here is looking like it could be an under again, especially in these different stadiums. There was a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-2. I'd have to say that both of these teams look like they're offensively challenged right now. It's not like the pitching has been overly brilliant. They just can't seem to get the hits at the right time. And there's a fastball swung on and missed. And Yoshida has gone on strikes for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that's going to bring up the first baseman, Yuma Tongu. Well, for Tongu, he's hitting .221. He's got 5 homers and 16 RBIs. The Buffaloes, the difference between the Buffaloes lineup tonight and the lineup for the Fighters is that it looks like that the Fighters obviously have made 3 changes from last night's ball game. The Buffaloes and their lineup have made a couple of changes. And here comes the offering to Tongu. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count's 1-0. Shiro in the first inning is getting the nod in center field tonight, and Yamashita is getting the nod at second base. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into right center field. This ball is going to get down for a base hit as it is fielded by the center fielder Imagawa. And that is the first hit of the ball game, and the first hit for the Buffaloes, obviously, by Yuma Tongu. So that's going to bring up the other Yuma in the batting order. It's going to be Yuma Mune. Mune batting .271 with those 3 homers and 34 runs batted in. A beautiful sunny day at the Obihiro Nomori Stadium. And Mune gets himself dug in on the left side of the batter's box. He always does a lot of maintenance. He digs himself in, and now he's ready to go. Every time, it's like he's got to get his feet in exactly the exact grain of dirt. And here's the pitch. It is a breaking ball. It catches the inside corner for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Mune. And he takes so much time. Sometimes the pitchers have had to been called to a halt, so he allows him to get himself set because he always has his head facing down as he digs in. Some of the pitchers have tried to quick pitch him. As here comes the 0-1 offering. It is a fastball that is swung on and missed. The count is now 0-2 to Mune. So no balls and 2 strikes. Ihara ready to go back to work. He picks up the rosin bag and deposits it. As we have the action here, Mick is saying he still can't believe the Rockies earlier. I tell you, I didn't get a chance to look at much Major League Baseball today. I saw that the Giants beat the Tigers 3-1. That was pretty much about it. I wasn't dialed in. I was taking a back seat to the MLB this evening. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Zahara kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that just misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2 on Mune. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Still fascinated by these stadiums that they're playing here in the games during the year, and they do that around the NPB as they have a number of different stadiums. They'll have the neutral site games. Lots of fun to see different spots. Also allows for the fans in other areas of the country to be able to see their teams. There's the 1-2 pitch, and it's a fastball that's swung on and lifted down the left field line. It's going to reach the seats. That's going to keep the count at 1-2. Lots of real estate in foul territory down the lines. And I guess that's a good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that it allows the players to be able to make some more plays. The bad thing is the fans are seated well away from the action. It's kind of like the Oakland Alameda Coliseum. You watch games, if you've ever seen a game live there or at least on TV, just how much real estate there is between the first base bag and the stands. You can run for days, it seems like. And here's the 1-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball, swung on and missed. Mune has gone down on strikes for the second out of the inning. That's going to leave all up to the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. Well, for Wakatsuki, he's batting .315 on the year. He's got 4 homers and 10 runs batted in. Wakatsuki did catch in last night's ball game. He was hitting in the 9 slot. He was 0 for 3 last night. He did reach base on an error as he gets himself set in here on the right side against the left-handed throwing O'Hara. Waggles the bat, and now he's waiting on the first offering as the lefty holds set. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses down for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Yumatongu, not really a threat to run. He hasn't got any stolen bases this year. And the lefty, O'Hara, hasn't shown his move yet or any type of move over to first base. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball. Take it for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. What stands out about O'Hara isn't that he's left-handed or that he's fairly tall. It's that he's got this green glove that has no match to the rest of the uniform or anything else, but it just sort of stands out completely different. Green with a little bit of tan trim to it. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to short. It is fielded on the backhand side by Kamikawa Kabata. He throws over to second, and that's going to retire Tongu on a fielder's choice. It's going to be erased 6-4 for out number 3, and that is going to do it here in the top of the second inning. Well, there was no runs. There was a hit. There was no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 1.5 innings. It is the Orix Buffaloes no score, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters no score. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be the Heart of the Fighters batting order coming into bat here, and that means it's going to be Yudai Furukawa, Daigo Kawakabata, and Kensuke Kondo to face the right-hander Takayusa, who delivers a first pitch fastball down and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Neither of these teams got a run in last night's ball game in the shortened 7-inning tie, and they're both off to a slow start in this one as the fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-1. Friend Josh S. was talking about CJ Cron and saying that he's a different hitter between the home and away, as Mick was talking about. He had a 3-run homer in the 7th tonight. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is now 2-1. I remember with the Minnesota Twins, was kind of excited when the Tigers signed him and Jonathan Scope, upgraded the right side of the infield, but Cron hurt his knee, and then he wasn't re-up. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 3-1. But in the short bit that I saw him, I was pretty excited by some of his stuff. His brother was playing with the Hiroshima Toyo Carp. It'd be Kevin Cron. That was, I believe, last year. I don't think he's back with them this year. His time might be done in the NPB. Haven't seen enough of the Carp this year as a fastball misses outside, and Furukawa is going to be aboard with a leadoff walk, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Daigo Kawakabata. For Kawakabata, he is hitting 271 on the year. He's got a couple of homers and 13 RBIs. As he strides to the plate here, we're going to see if they're going to play some small ball here, trying to play for a run. Runs were at a premium, as we said yesterday. The Buffaloes loaded the bases in 3 consecutive innings last night, stranded 2 on in the 3rd, and then the bases loaded in the 4th and the 5th. The Fighters had some base running shenanigans that ended up costing them an opportunity for some runs. And there's a bunt that's down. It's back to the pitcher. He fields it. He throws to first. That is going to retire Kawakabata for the first out. It's going to be a sacrifice, 1-4. It's going to advance for Akawa over into second base and in scoring position. And allow bring up the left fielder, Kensuke Kondo. Well, for Kondo, he's hitting .298. He's got 5 homers and 32 runs batted in. As we said, it is a little bit of a different lineup here tonight. As the 3 players who didn't play last night got inserted into the top part, and then everybody else seemed to be pushed down in the batting order. That's how it seems to operate here for the manager, the big boss, Shinjo. So here comes the first offering from the right-hander Takeusa, who delivers it as a fastball swung on. This ball is hit to deep left field, moving back on it on the warning track and making the grab as he runs into the wall is the left fielder Fukuda, tagging it second and racing over to third is Furukawa. So Kondo hit it to the deepest part of left field you could possibly do. And being able to haul it in is Fukuda up against the wall. And that is going to make it the second out of the inning. And that's going to leave it all up to Go Matsumoto. We got our friend Alexander in the house tonight. We've been taking attendance, Alex, and you've been not showing up for attendance lately. We're pleased that you're back in the house. We appreciate you here. You missed a good one last night. We had a big crowd. We had a 0-0 ball game in the 7th inning, and then they called it because of darkness, because there was no lights at the stadium they were playing at. But today we got a bright sunny day, and there's still a stadium here with no lights. So we'll see what's going to happen in this one. So 2 gone here in the 2nd inning, and Go Matsumoto steps to the plate. He's the Pacific League's leading hitter, and he's batting 7th in the lineup today. And here comes the first offering from the right-hander Takeusa. And there is a fastball that just misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Alexander Leggett says, work's been rough, but I had COVID. I have COVID now, nothing to do for 5 days. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that, and we hope that you get better. So far, knock on wood, I've been able to avoid that for sure. We will be getting on a plane here in a couple of days, and you never know. Those are flying germ balls. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count's now 2-0. So just got to make sure we got ourselves a good mask, and hopefully we can make it on our way all the way across the country in good stead. So 2 balls and no strikes to Matsumoto. He bats from the right side against the righty Takeusa, who holds at the belt. And now he kicks and he delivers it as a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count is now 2-1 to Matsumoto. Right-hander Takeusa has only worked 20 innings on the year coming into tonight's ball game. He's given up 20 hits. He's got the ERA of 3.15. So sometimes we get folks that come in and ask us, what do we think? I don't know what to think when I haven't seen this guy pitch all year. I don't know where they've been hiding him. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count's now 3-1. Kentaro Kiyomiya waits his turn on deck. Should Matsumoto be able to find a way on here? Our friend Alexander Leggett said he picked it up in New York. You ought to be fine if you wear a mask and avoid messy public places. Yeah, the unfortunate part is when you get on an airplane, I consider that to be a problem. There's a split finger pitch that misses down and away, and Matsumoto is going to be aboard with a walk here. It's going to put runners on the corners. That's going to bring Kiyomiya to the plate. Well, for Kentaro Kiyomiya, he's batting .208. He's got 13 homers and 32 runs batted in. I'm really more concerned about flying west to east than I am east to west. And the reason for that is I'm going to see my folks. And so when I go to see my folks, I don't want to take any unwanted gifts with me. Of course, COVID would be something that I sure don't want to be able to share with them. So we're going to take, I guess, what I would call extra precautions to be able to do that. So Kiyomiya is striding to the plate. Batting 208 on the year. He's got 13 homers and 32 RBIs. Whereas coming east back to west, I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but that way there, I'm not taking anything in the other direction as the split finger pitch misses down and the count is 1-0 to Kiyomiya. So 1 ball and no strikes. It's a beautiful looking outfield grass that they have here. And you look at the park where they're playing, as I said, it's an all dirt infield at this Obihiro Nomori Stadium. And the pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Right-hander Takeusa picks up the sign from his catcher Wakatsuki, and he holds at the belt. Checks the runner. And now he delivers. It is a fastball that's swung on and fouled away. The count goes to 1-2. So you got to keep an eye on the runner. Matsumoto can run. He's got 21 stolen bases on the year. A little surprised they haven't put him in motion here. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Kiyomiya. Well, the catcher Wakatsuki steps up in front of the plate and he flashes his first and third signals. He's got to get the defense prepared for anything. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the left-handed hitting Kiyomiya waits on the offering here from Takeusa. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is belted to deep left field. Racing back on it is Fukuda. He's going to make the catch on the warning track right up against the fence. Kiyomiya hit the ball hard. He hit it deep, but just not deep enough as it is going to be retired for out number 3. And that will do it here in the bottom of the second inning for the Fighters. Well, there were no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There were no errors. And there were 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 2 complete. It is a 0-0 ball game. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a moment as we move to the top of the 3rd inning. We are now moving to the top of the 3rd inning, and it is going to be coming up for the Buffaloes in their half of the 3rd. It's going to be the second baseman, Yamashi, and then it'll be the shortstop, Kobayashi, and the top of the order, Shuhei Fukuda. Our friend Jerry, who popped in here, and he says, yeah, you know what? It was a couple of outs, which is all to the warning track and to the deepest part, too. Looks like the wind may be blowing out in that direction, so we'll have to keep our eye on that to left field. That ball that Kiyomiya hit went the other way. He got it up in that jet stream. It's kind of hard to tell where the stuff is blowing right now. There's a first pitch fastball delivered to Yamashi, and this is outside for ball 1. We didn't go through the Fighters defensively tonight, as he takes a breaking ball over for a called strike, and the count's 1-1. Now the defensive lineup, it's Kondo in left, the center fielder, and this one is Imagawa. The right fielder tonight is Manami. As there's a breaking ball that misses, and the count is now 2-1. Around the horn for the Buffaloes, it is Tongu at first. The second baseman is Yamashi. As there's a fastball, the second baseman is, first baseman's Kiyomiya. The second baseman tonight is Alcantara. The shortstop is Kamikawa Kabata, and the third baseman is Corey. As that was a fastball lifted to straightaway center field, and that is going to retire Yamashi for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up Kotaro Kobayashi. And of course, the battery is Uhara, and the catcher is Furukawa. So that takes you through the defensive alignment. There's a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Kobayashi. Kobayashi on the year hitting .225. He's got 6 homers and 30 RBIs. As O'Hara delivers, it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. 3 strikeouts in the early going for the lefty O'Hara. He's worked 64 in the 3rd innings this year, as we mentioned at the top, and he had 51 strikeouts, so he's not quite at 1 an inning. He is beating the street here as he fires a breaking ball that is swung on and missed. Kobayashi is gone now for the second out of the inning. He's down on strikes. That's number 4 in the books for the lefty. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Shuhei Fukuda. Joe Mao is in the house tonight. He's asking, are y'all on the over? These 0-0 scores just keep going right at it here. Jerry says he'd love it at 0-0 all the way to the 9th. And here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball. I'll take it for a called strike, and the count's 0-1. Aria Iwato, I don't know if I said his name properly. I apologize if I've got it incorrect. Says, are these teams ever going to score? Yeah, it's 9 consecutive innings with nothing, and there's the fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, and it's going to get down for a base hit in front of the left fielder Kondo, and it's a 2-out single here for Fukuda. So he is aboard with a hit, and that's going to bring up the center fielder Koshio Shiro. Well, keep an eye on Fukuda. He's got 9 stolen bases on the year. I wouldn't be surprised that they would try to get him over into scoring position straight away here. So Fukuda, the runner at first with 2 gone as Oshiro steps to the dish. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out looking his first time up as he's ready to face the left-hander O'Hara for the second time. So left-hander against the right-hander, and O'Hara throws over to first base, and getting back easily is the base runner Fukuda. Ria says, good pronunciation. Thank you. We appreciate that, and we're glad that you were here listening in. Friend Jerry says, I'm actually okay with an under 4-run game. Well, it's very interesting, this ballpark, because there's a fastball taken upstairs for a ball, and the count is 1-0 to Oshiro. People were asking me earlier on, I had a couple of messages sent to me asking, what do you think? And the biggest thing is when I think of the ballpark that they're playing in, I really haven't seen it. I don't know what to say. Don't know what to give advice to people on. And sometimes when you think of ballpark effects on the stadiums, how they affect the games differently. Certainly how the ball is played and how it is performed in parks. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Counts 1-1. When you think of Wrigley Field in Chicago and Fenway Park in Boston, the way the games are played there, it's a little bit different than, say, for example, a spacious park like Comerica in Detroit or Petco in San Diego. So these ballparks here, how the ball travels, type of pitchers, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count's now 1-2. And I think that those are factors that, especially for some of the folks who like to place wagers down, have to take some of that stuff into consideration. It's a totally different ballpark. You take the 2 teams that are playing, and how do they play here? How do they respond versus somewhere else? And there's a breaking ball outside. Off to second goes the base runner, Fukuda. The throw is down. It's in time, and he is going to be caught stealing. That is going to do it here. It's going to go down 2-6 for the third out of the inning. And Oshiro will be coming to bat to lead off the next inning. Well, there was no runs in the inning. There was a hit. No errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 2.5. It is the Orix Buffaloes, no score. The Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters, no score. Welcome back, everybody. We're cruising to the bottom half of the third inning. It is going to be the 9-1-2 hitters coming up for the Fighters. That means Yuma Imagawa, Takuya Kori, and Arizmendi Alcantara to face the right-hander Daichi Takayusa as he will be beginning his third inning. We appreciate you, Jerry, for stopping in tonight, and we also note that he has subscribed to the channel. Welcome aboard, and we appreciate you for being here. He says his old high school baseball stadium was very similar to this one, all infield dirt. Maybe we could ask him where exactly it was his high school stadium, as it's always neat to hear whether it be different people across North America or Latin America or in Asia where they've played or been a part of in their youth. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted behind home plate, and racing back and sliding and making the catch is Wakatsuki. And that is going to retire Imagawa on the first pitch that he sees for the first out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the top of the order in Takuya Kori. So 1 up and 1 away, and that brings Kori to the plate. Kori tonight is 0 for 1. He grounded out to third his first time up. So he bats from the right side against the right-hander Takayusa as he waggles the bat, waiting on the first offering. And here comes the pitch. He squares the bunt, but he takes a breaking ball over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Kori's average has dipped to 130 on the year. He's got a couple of homers and 6 RBIs as he waits on the delivery here from the right-hander. It's a fastball that just misses down, and the count is now 1-1 strike. It's a beautiful day for baseball. The wind is a little bit blustery here, but I'd have to say that there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 1-2. Unlike yesterday where the clouds were blowing across and there was a lot of wind. Spaceman V in the house tonight. We appreciate you for being here. And also, he is subscribed to the channel. Thanks for listening in. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 strikes. And here comes the offering from the righty who kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that misses down and in, and the count now is 3-2 to Corey. So 3 strikes. Our friend Jerry says, his opinion, it's got a rich history. Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig once played here. It's called Miller Stadium, nationally ranked number 1 in 88, and glorified in glory days of Bruce Springsteen. There's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up down the third base line. Racing back, and on the warning track is Yuma Mooney, and he makes the catch. It was over the shoulder. Normally speaking, it's an easier play for the shortstop with the angle to get to the ball, but Mooney had a good jump. The shortstop, Kirbyhashi, was a little bit slower getting there. The left fielder, Fukuda, had to come a long way. It was almost in the Bermuda Triangle of the foul territory variety, but Mooney was able to stay with it, and he makes the catch. And that is going to retire Corey for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the second baseman, Arizmendi Alcantara. So Jerry says he actually lived right behind that stadium. That's a pretty cool story. Our friend Arias says, remembers Kiermaier from the 2013 Little League World Series. There's a breaking ball to Alcantara that misses outside for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Alcantara 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. And here's the offering. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. Arias says that they were billing him. He was billed to what Ohtani is now. Still early to call him a bust. Interesting. Very interesting stuff. It's always nice to see all that different stuff. There's a fastball that was swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 1-2. Jerry says it's been renovated to fit today's standards with a turf infield now. It's kind of neat. I always like getting to the older stadiums, especially when you are in the Midwest or in the East. There's just so much heritage in the United States. Well, not just the United States, even in Eastern Canada, where they've got some old ballparks, local club teams or college level type teams. As a breaking ball misses down, and the count's now 2-2. On the West Coast is a little bit different. You do see some ballparks here and there, and they're kind of neat to see. But because everything is just so far apart, far-reaching, sometimes it poses a bit of a challenge to be able to get to certain spots. So 2 strikes to Alcantara. As the righty kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on it. It's fouled away. It's going to reach the seats behind the third base dugout. The count remains at 2-2. So 2 strikes. So just a couple of programming notes for everybody that's here that's listening in. We're going to call the Major League game tomorrow night between the Dodgers and the Brewers. So if you're around and want to stop in and listen, it's going to go off at 6 o'clock Pacific or 9 Eastern. There's a fastball swung on, tap foul behind home plate, and the count remains 2-2. And then we're going to be a little bit dark for a couple days, as I mentioned before, that I'm going to be flying east. We are going to do some games while I'm away, but we're not going to do a full slate like we've been doing through the months of July and August. I've got about 10 days where I'm sort of taking a holiday. It is a holiday, but sometimes when you're visiting relatives, it's not always a holiday. And there's a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count's now 3-2. Not for that reason, just everybody's going to want your time and all the rest of that stuff. So I really haven't got a schedule posted after Wednesday, but we will call some sporadic games, and I'm going to try maybe to get up and do the 5 a.m. Eastern games even during the week, just not to have to be up and around everything else. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. But I just don't know what I'm going to add on to that schedule. But once we return, we'll be running a full slate of games all through the month of September, right through into the playoffs in the NPB, and hopefully you guys can join us all the way through. And we'll probably be doing the late night games. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's fouled off right into the feet of Alcantara, and this is turning into quite the battle, as this is going to be the 10th pitch of the at-bat now coming up here. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Alcantara, as he has making the right-hander Takeusa battle with 2 gone. And ratcheting that pitch count up. Here comes the 3-2 offering. He kicks and delivers, and it is a split finger pitch that misses down and in, and Alcantara has got himself a base on balls as he is aboard with a single. Our friend Jerry says that's why baseball is the best sport to play. Every team has a unique stadium. And that's exactly what it is. And I have to say that because every team is built differently, or should be built differently for each park. I'm not sure that that's always the case in Major League Baseball. When you think of the Boston Red Sox or the Cubs, they play with small stadiums. And then you think of the Padres, who have that spacious park in Petco, and you've got the Tigers with Comerica Park. When Tigers used to play at Tiger Stadium, they had that short porch in right field. You could load up with the left-handed hitters. And then they went into Comerica Park, and they did not build their team for speed, but they built the park that was for speed. And there's a pitch that misses down, and the count is 1-0. I say that because I watched the Tigers quite a bit growing up, and of course still follow them to today. Our friend Arizona Cardinal says, who do you have winning? I think the bigger question is who do you have scoring the first run in this? I don't know if anybody's going to win. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 1-1 on Minami. We've got 9 full innings for both teams without scoring a run in this 2-game set. And I have to say, based on what I'm witnessing tonight, we might go another 9 more innings without any more runs being scored between these 2 teams. So all of a sudden, that under is looking pretty good. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Minami. There is the runner at first is Alcantara, and the pitcher flips it over to first base, does Takeusa, and getting back easily is the base runner. Jerry says the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters is his pick to win. They're going to break that losing streak today. And our friend Aria says they need to start the ghost runner at second base in every inning. These 2 teams play against each other. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count's now 2-1. If I would have said coming into this one, just even on the year, I haven't called a lot of Fighters games, and simply because they are certainly very far adrift in the NPB standings. They are on the season. They got 44 wins and 66 losses. They are 22 games below 500. There's a fastball. It's taken for a called strike. Off to second goes Alcantara, and he slides in, and the throw is in time, and he is going to be caught stealing. That's going to go down 2-6. He will be retired for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here for the Fighters. Well, they got no runs in the inning. There were no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 3 complete innings. It's the Buffaloes no score, the Fighters no score. Of course it is. We'll be back here in just a couple moments with the top of the 4th inning. Glad you guys can make it in here with us tonight. We appreciate you for being here. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments after this. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the top of the fourth inning. It is going to be Koji Oshiro, Kai Nakagawa, and Masataki Yoshida to come to bat for the Buffaloes. Friend Jerry says the live under is currently at 5.5, and that might even drop a little bit further. One would have to think. Our friend Eric is in the house tonight. Eric, 39. He says he figures the Orix Buffaloes will win easy in this one. Ria says take the under all day long in this one. Yeah, I think they left their bats in the freezer before they came to play in this one here tonight. Well, after a little bit of field maintenance here after the third inning, the lefty is just coming out to do his warm-up tosses. So we'll be back in about 30 seconds, guys, after this, as they did a little bit of extra time here in between the innings to get that dirt infield up to snuff. Hang tight. We'll be right back. Our friend Jerry asked the question. He says, how do you feel about NPB umpires versus Major League umpires? I would say I feel very similar, Jerry, to both. You have some good umpires at the Major League level, and you have some ones that are suspect. And then I would say the same thing about the NPB umpires. The one that was calling the balls and strikes last night, I would have said was one of the more erratic umpires that we've seen in a while. It was hard to gauge his zone. He wasn't consistent, let alone pitch to pitch. How about batter to batter? And yeah, a little bit tough. But here comes the first offering. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Oshiro. Oshiro was at bat when Fukuda was thrown out in the last half inning. He struck out looking his first time up as the lefty Hara delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. So just with regards to the thoughts of the umpires, as I said, it's a thankless job in some capacity. I think that, unfortunately, for some of the umpires who are calling the ball games, and they do a pretty good job at the Major League level. There are some guys who, of course, are a little bit below standard, as there's a fastball that misses outside. But it is difficult. You figure there's approximately, I would say, in a Major League game, you're looking at about a minimum of 200 pitches. That's at 15 pitches per inning per 9 innings for each team. 135, 270 as the breaking ball misses down and in. The count's now 2-2. And when you think about it, pitchers are put in play, pitchers are fouled away. So how many calls do they actually have to make? And then how many close calls that they have to make? And those are the ones that really define them. There's a fastball that just misses inside. They appeal down to the first base umpire that says that Oshiro didn't go, and that runs the count full to now 3-2. So those are just general thoughts on the umpires. And as I say, sometimes there's some good ones. I really like Corey Blazer. I like John Tumpane in Major League Baseball. Some of the younger fellas, there's a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. Our friend Alexander Leggett back up at the top says we may need a couple of pops to get through this game here. This game here actually does have some tempo and pace to it. There's nothing worse than when you're watching games like last night's game. The fighters would get the first 2 outs of the inning, and then they'd walk a guy and give up a hit, and then it was loading the bases, and then they'd get out of the jam, and that drives you nuts. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on and missed. Oshiro is down on strikes for the first out of the inning. There is one away, and that's going to bring up Kai Nakagawa. Our friend Aria says, who's your pick for the American League MVP? Well, that's a great question as well. Yeah, I would have to say that Aaron Judge has got to be the front runner for that one, at least the way that he's been hitting the homers at a crazy pace. The New York Yankees in particular, being that they are in first place, there's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nakagawa. Nakagawa is 0-1 tonight. He's popped out to the first baseman his first time up as he takes a fastball inside for a ball, and the count goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike as lefty O'Hara ready to go back to work. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball that swung on and fouled straight back, and the count is 1-2. Just jumping back to that. So that would be my pick, is Judge right now as it stands. When I think of the Houston Astros, I wouldn't say there's anybody that pops to me. I think Verlander maybe could do the double. Again, MVP and Cy Young. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count's 2-2. That's been done before. Our friend Jerry says that an example of the infamous imperfect game or perfect game, Yeah, that was unfortunate because, Jim Joyce was actually a pretty good umpire. There's a fastball swung on, it's grounded over to third. It is knocked down by the third baseman who fires to first, and it's not going to be in time. The third baseman is Corey. He was knocked it down, and then he fired over to first. It was a little bit offline. The first baseman, Kiyomiya, tried to pick it, but the ball was in the dirt. It's going to go down as an E5 as Nakagawa is aboard here with one out, and that's going to bring up the designated hitter, Masataka Yoshida. So Jim Joyce, in my opinion, Jim Joyce was a pretty good umpire for most of his career. Not a lot of sideshows, not a lot of controversy. And then all of a sudden that game, and the disappointing thing for Jim Joyce was, the right hand has to go up. You got to know the situation. I mean, geez, it could have been some of that stuff. We got BJ in here. We welcome him back into the fold. Eric says we need to transition to bot umpires. Every sport is transitioning, such as soccer, to the VAR. So there's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is now 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Allie's in the house here looking for help. Here comes the 1-0 pitch as the lefty delivers, and there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. Our friend Eric says Angel Hernandez is making a living off of blown calls. He's got to go. The best call Angel Hernandez made in his career was when the spring training was shut down. And he was walking out, and they threw a mic in his face, and he said, "We'll see you in July." And that was with the 2020 shortened year with the COVID. And he got that call right. And there's a breaking ball swung on. This has popped up into shallow left field. Racing back as the shortstop. And coming in is Kondo, and the ball's been dropped. He overran the ball, and that is absolute calamity. Unbelievable. Kondo was racing in. He calls off the shortstop, Kamikawa Kabata, and that's going to go down as E7. So we got back-to-back errors here in the fourth inning when there should be 2 more outs and they should be out of the inning. O'Hara is probably pulling his hair out right now on the mound, not believing what he's seeing. The shortstop was racing out. Kondo calls him off, and he overruns the ball, and the ball goes behind him. That looked like a little league play from a house league game for two kids who never going to get to the big leagues, and that's exactly what happened here. Kondo butchered that one big time. Oh, my goodness. So now we got runners at first and second with 1 out, and that's going to bring Yuma Tonga to the plate. I know the wind is blowing, and it is playing a little bit of havoc, and certainly that came into play. I wondered last night if the wind was going to play some havoc. It was even worse than it is tonight. But it really never had an effect on last night's ball game. But here it showed up in the fourth inning in this one. So Tongu tonight has a single in his only trip to the plate. He was erased on a fielder's choice to end the second inning. He takes a first pitch fastball over for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So this has a eerie, similar feeling to last night's ball game where Buffaloes ended up loading up the bases and then couldn't cash. Our friend Alexander Leggett, as we were talking about, his stuff says they need to keep Angel in there to distract the fans from their team's terrible play. Depending on what games he's doing for which teams. There's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count is now 1-1 to Tongu. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, the errors have now shown up. That is for sure. 2 of them on successive plays. I have to say the Dodgers might be using up all their steam here in the month of August, playing their best baseball right now. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's now 2-1. Joe Mao says he took the under a little bit earlier. Well, you never know here. We got runners at first and second. The Buffaloes know how to get themselves out of snatch a defeat out of the jaws of victory. Here comes the 2-1 pitch. As O'Hara delivers, it is a breaking ball swung on. This is grounded up the middle. It's going to be a base hit into center field. Here comes the throw in. It's going to be cut off, and it's going to load the bases. The bases are going to be full of Buffaloes. There is a stampede brewing here. That's going to advance the runner Nakagawa over to third. It's going to put Yoshida to second. The bases are now loaded, and that's going to bring Yumamune to the plate. Joe Mao says that Victor Caratini is now throwing for the Brewers. Well, we're going to call that game tomorrow night. So we'll see what kind of excitement they're going to have. I think it's, if I'm not mistaken, it's Andrew Heaney against Aaron Ashby. Two lefties going head-to-head tomorrow. So the bases are full of Buffaloes. It brings Yumamune to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his only time up. The corners are in. The middle infield is in double play depth as the lefty Mooney steps up to the plate. And here comes the first offering from Uhara as he holds set. And he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. The crowd is beautiful. They said it holds just over 23,000 at this venue, but I don't think it's at full capacity. There's a lot of empty seats down the right field line. There's also empty seats down the left field line, but the outfield where people are seated on the lawn embankment, looks like they've got a nice view here. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to first. Kiyomiya comes home for one. That's all they're going to get. It's going to be a fielder's choice. So Mune reaches on the fielder's choice. Nakagawa is retired at the plate. He's going to be retired 3-2. The second out of the inning. Everybody else moves up a base. Yoshida goes to third. Tongu moves over to second. That's going to bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. And Chris White is back into this here. He said the same. I think he copied and pasted his stuff from last night. Chris White was in this chat. He said they can't hit a beach ball into the ocean with the bases loaded. Welcome back, Chris, and you're absolutely correct. We used to say once upon a time they couldn't score with a handful of hundreds in a whorehouse. That might be the same thing. Here we go. We got bases loaded, full of Buffaloes, and Kenya Wakatsuki at the plate. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball swung on, and this ball is hit into left field, and we're going to get a run. Kondo fields it. He throws it back into the infield, and they're going to get 2 runs across the plate. A single and 2 RBIs for Wakatsuki. And that is going to put the Buffaloes up 2-0 here in the top of the 4th inning. So what do you know? We got RBIs, but hold tight, everybody. Let's see if they're going to appeal to a base. Maybe somebody missed touching a bag, and they'll take those runs off the board. You never know with this team, because that possibly could happen. And that's going to bring up the second baseman, Tetsuya Yamashi. Oh, boy. So runners at first and second with 2 gone, and Yamashi striding to the plate. Our friend Josh says he's stealing that one. It's all yours. We didn't have that one trademarked at all. Here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded over to short. It is fielded by Daigo Kamikawa Kabata, and he throws to first, and that is going to retire Yamashi on a ground out 6-3 for the 3rd out of the inning, but there was damage done. Finally, runs in the series. There were 2 runs in the inning on 2 hits. There were 2 errors, and there were 2 runners left on base. 2s are wild. We are now moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is a 2-0 lead for the Orix Buffaloes. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back after this. We appreciate you guys for being here. Hang tight. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming to bat for the Fighters here in their half of the 4th inning. That's going to be Chusei Manami, and then it's going to be Yudai Furukawa and Daigo Kamikawa. As I have to say in advance, I hope I'm not messing up any of those names there. It is definitely a tongue twister for the shortstop Daigo Kawakabata, as I feel like I'm almost speaking Gaelic in some degree because there are a lot of consonants in that one, and hopefully we get that one right. So up steps Manami. He is 0 for 1 tonight. He has struck out in his only plate appearance. The first pitch is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. 52 pitches through the first 3 innings for the right-hander Takiusa, as he is ready to go back to work here again. Here's the 0-1 offering as he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side. Runs the count now to 0-2 on Manami. Manami was the bat in the last half inning when there's Mendy Alcantara was gunned down stealing by the catcher Wakatsuki to end the inning. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into deep second base, as camping out underneath it is the second baseman Yamashi, and he's going to make the catch. It's a deep second base, but it looked like he was starting back onto the grass, and he ended up coming back in. You never know with the wind here. It's playing a little havoc. It feels like we're watching a game in San Francisco, the way the wind is carrying things around. So 1 gone here in the 4th inning. That's going to bring up Yudai Furukawa. For Furukawa tonight, he's walked in his only plate appearance. We appreciate everybody, as we said, who is listening to the ball game. There's a first pitch fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left center field. Camping out underneath it is the center fielder Oshiro. He makes the catch. That's going to retire Furukawa. So 2 quick outs here in the 4th inning. It's going to leave it all up to the shortstop Daigo Kawakabata. Our friend Joe Mao says the Dodgers are now using Hanser Alberto to pitch. I saw that actually earlier in Detroit this year when a team had the big lead. They actually brought in the pitchers to pitch even though they had, or the hitters to pitch even though they had a huge lead. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So not only when they're losing, they've been bringing them in when they're winning. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, and there's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-1. Times I'm a little bit mixed on why or how that they're using the pitchers or the positional players to pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It is lined up the middle. It's going to be a base hit. And Kawabata is aboard with a single here, the 2-out variety, and that is going to bring up the left fielder Kensuke Kondo. Well, for Kondo tonight, he is 0 for 1. He flew out to left field his first time up, but he butchered that ball back in the top of the 4th inning here that eventually led to a run for the Orix Buffaloes. It overrun the ball. As we said, the wind was wreaking havoc. It's blowing out towards left field. The ball is carrying. And as he raced in, the ball was blown right over his head. He ended up missing up the play there. So here comes the first offering to him. It's a breaking ball that misses down and in. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Our friend Jerry asked the question. He says, what do you think about MLB's unwritten rules? Well, it depends on what the unwritten rules are. I think that some of the unwritten rules have been changed with the video replays. So here comes the offering to Kondo. It's 1-0 pitch, and it's a fastball swung on, and it's lifted down the left field line. Racing over is Fukuda. He's got to come a long way. And that ball is going to be blown into the seats. And that's going to run the count to 1-1. Well, Joe Mao has a statement. He says unwritten rules are not very bright. Well, the unfortunate part to that, Joe, is that that's probably not fair, because there are certain unwritten rules that I would talk about. Like, for example, the neighborhood play at second base. If you had a ground ball to second base and you don't touch the bag and you're close to the bag and the runner's not even close, there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Rounding second and heading to third is Kawakabata, and Kondo is going to get himself a single here, and that's going to put runners on the corners with 2 away, and that's going to bring up Go Matsumoto. So I'll give you the example of an unwritten rule. So the old play used to be the neighborhood play, where you may not touch the base as a second baseman or shortstop, but the base runner running from first to second could slide in and really do damage to the middle infielder, could blow the guy up, could, take out a guy's knee, could take out the ankle, could really hurt the middle infield player. And so if you're close enough, make the call, you're out. And that way it was to avoid injury. Well, now that they've gone to the instant replays, it's now letter of the law. They're looking for the guy's toenail to hit the base, even though they said that the neighborhood play would still be okay. I haven't seen that in certain occasions. I've seen a couple of times where calls have been overturned when I'm looking at it saying that's the neighborhood play. So as far as I'm concerned, that's a particular play in terms of unwritten rules. Here comes the first offering to Matsumoto. It's a fastball that swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. It's going to get down for a base hit, and the Fighters are going to cash in their first run. And stopping at second is Kondo on the single by Matsumoto. So we got an RBI hit. Everything coming here with 2 outs, as it has been back-to-back-to-back hits that have now cut the lead to 2-1. Our friend Aria says, isn't that canceled out by the new slide rules? Well, certainly some of these slide rules are supposed to be in effect, yes. Can't slide past the base, but it's not just past the base. It's also, too, where guys would slide and maybe slide to the outfield side, and they can reach out with their hand and touch the bag, and they can still take out the player depending upon where it is. So now there's runners at first and second, as Kamikawa Kabata has crossed the plate for the first run for the Fighters. That brings Kentaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Well, Kiyomiya is 0 for 1 tonight. He hit that deep fly ball to left field, right to the warning track his first time up. And he could probably use one to go about 3 feet further this time, and that would push the Fighters into the lead. There's a first pitch fastball that misses down for ball 1, and the count's 1-0. Jerry says he finds it funny when teams are mad when a home run is hit. They're blown up by 10 runs and the batter pimps a home run. Well, what I think is kind of pathetic is when you're down by 10 runs and your batter pimps a home run. There, I just shake my head. I say, what are we doing? So there's a fastball fouled away, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kiyomiya. That drives me crackers, where you see a team that they are down by 10 and a guy hits a solo shot and he's high stepping around the bases. They got a 10-run lead. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kiyomiya. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is singled into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Rounding second and heading home. And the throw is not going to be in time to get Kondo. He's going to slide in safely. And that is a single and an RBI for Kiyomiya. And we are all tied up. So we go 10 innings in this series with no runs. And now the game is all tied at 2. So 4 singles in a row. All here with 2 outs. No sign of trouble for the right-hander Takeusa after he retires the first 2 batters, and then it's hit, and hit. So 2-2 is now the scoreline, as that is going to bring up Yuma Imagawa to the plate. So that's kind of funny here as we have it. Some of these stuff. Now, who do you have winning? I have the same thing. It's the toss-up coin. I think we said early in the ball game, you can see this game going 12 innings tied. So they've got now runners on the corners. Do the Fighters. As Kiyomiya has come up clutch as Imagawa steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. Popped out to the catcher his first time up, and here's the first offering. It's a fastball that misses down for ball 1. The count is 1-0. Our friend Saya Prasad, if I said that correctly, says now he better put money down on Orix. He's now scared. Yeah, well, watching some of this game has been a bit scary. The way that the Fighters have played defensively, the way that both teams have failed to cash in certain situations. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes to Imagawa. If the Fighters can find a way to win here, maybe they might want to consider playing more than one ball game at this stadium. As we mentioned before at the outset, this is the Obihiro Nomori Stadium. It's a interesting venue. They play one game a year here, just like they did yesterday at the Kashiro Citizen Stadium. So a couple of neutral site games played in Hokkaido, and of course, afternoon affairs here. Neither stadium with lights. As they fire over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner Kiyomiya. I kind of like it, actually. It's when you see the major league teams, I like the idea of the concept of the Field of Dreams game. I like the concept of the Little League game. It brings certain marketplaces to baseball, grassroots. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to short. It's bobbled by the shortstop, Kobayashi. He throws to first, and it's not in time, and that's going to be an error on the shortstop. And that is going to put the Fighters into the lead as the runner Matsumoto has scored to make it 3-2. And Kiyomiya is safe at second. So the shortstop bobbles the ball. Then when he recovered, he threw the ball up the line. So he's going to get tagged with an error here. Now the errors are starting to bite the Buffaloes. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Takuya Kori. Our friend Joe Mao asks the question, is this the stadium with no lights? No, this is the other stadium that doesn't have any lights. So back-to-back stadiums with no lights. So you got to figure in another hour and 40 minutes, start chewing your nails, keep your fingers crossed, because who knows if we're going to be able to play beyond. There's a breaking ball swung on, and it's grounded foul over on the third base side. The count is quickly 0-1 to Corey. Corey tonight is 0 for 2. He's grounded to third, and he's popped to third in his 2 trips. So Joe Mao is onto something. He says, if it gets dark, you got it. Game will be called because of darkness. Just think of this. It's like Wrigley Field, 1986. If you were alive in 1986, you know what I mean. Here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. There's going to be space and time here for Kuda. He makes the catch. And that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 4th inning. Well, lots of damage in this inning. There were 3 runs in the inning and on 4 hits. There was an error, and there was 2 runners left aboard. We are now through 4 complete. It is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 3 and the Orix Buffaloes 2. Hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for being here. Welcome back, everybody. We're moving to the 5th inning. It is a 3-2 ball game. The Buffaloes opened the scoring with 2 runs in the top of the 4th. The Fighters were able to respond with 3 of their own in the bottom half of the inning. And here comes the first pitch from the starter Uhara, who is still in the ball game. It's a fastball that misses upstairs to Kobayashi for ball 1. The count's 1-0. Kotaro Kobayashi, Shuhei Fukuda, and Koji Oshiro here to face the lefty in the 5th inning. As there's a fastball swung on and lifted foul over into the seats on the first base side. And the count is now 1-1. The change in the lineup is it looks like we have a new third baseman in for the Fighters. By the looks of it, it is Yachi, who was in the ballgame yesterday. Got Yachi in. We'll get you the confirmation of where he fits in here in just a moment. As there's a fastball that is swung on and missed. The count is now 1-2 to Kobayashi. So it looks like Takuya Kori's day is finished, as he will go into the top spot will be Yachi. And here comes the offering from Uehara. It's a fastball swung on. It is grounded up the middle, just past the glove of the shortstop, Kamikawa Kabata. And that's going to be a single for Kobayashi, a leadoff single here in the 5th inning. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Shuhei Fukuda. Well, Fukuda, he's 1 for 2 on the evening. He's got a single in 2 trips. He was caught stealing to end the 3rd inning. He's also grounded out to second. I'm just making my notes here as the leadoff hitter Corey was 0 for 3 tonight. So maybe that was what the big boss had seen enough of. Gone to the defensive replacement. Fukuda really chokes up on the bat here. He squares to bunt. That fastball is upstairs, and count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. We have Jumpy as God in the house here tonight. He is listening in on Twitch. Aria is saying Fukuda will bunt 100%. And you're looking at that as well. Our friend Eric says he's got Orix on money line, not looking good. Trucky's in the house. He says 8.5 under, please. Well, that's what it's looking like now. Trevor Parker's back in. Welcome back, Trevor. A lot of guys in the house tonight. We appreciate everybody for popping back in. As they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner, Kobayashi. We're talking a little bit about the stadium that they're playing at earlier. For those of you who are just jumping in, the ball game tonight is being played at the Obihiro Nomori Stadium, and is different from last night's venue, as again Fukuda squares to bunt, and it's a breaking ball that misses down. The count is 2-0. It's kind of a cool looking venue, and as I said, it would be more of along the lines of a AA type stadium. The capacity, they say, is going to hold 23,044. I'm curious to know exactly what that means, as there is grass seating in the outfield where people have their blankets. It's an embankment. As here comes the 2-0 pitch as the lefty holds, and he kicks and delivers again. Fukuda bunts. It's a good one. It's down the first base line. It's fielded by the first baseman. He throws to Alcantara covering, and that's going to be a sacrifice. 3-4 to retire Fukuda. He's gone for the first out. It's advanced Kobayashi into scoring position. And that'll bring up the center fielder, Koji Oshiro. The stadium plays 1 game a year, as we mentioned before, for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. It is located in the Obihiro Nomori Sports Park, which also includes an athletic stadium, an ice arena, and a public swimming pool. So they have kind of like a sports area designated in that pocket. And here comes the first pitch to the right-handed hitting Oshiro. It's a breaking ball that misses up and away for ball 1. Oshiro tonight is 0 for 2. He has struck out twice, once looking and once swinging. And we mentioned what is also neat about the stadium is that when it was built in 1990, they have a handprint for 12 representatives of the Golden Players Club commemorating the stadium. And here comes the 1-0 offering as the lefty kicks and delivers. It is a fastball that misses outside of the count's now 2-0. And what the Golden Players Club is, an organization for players who have achieved either 2,000 hits in their career, 200 wins, or 250 saves in professional baseball. And so some of the members include Sadahara O, Murray Giant legend, Ichiro Suzuki, Hideo Nomo, Hideki Matsui. So when you're walking around the grounds, you can see the handprints. They're emblazed in stone forever. And there's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right field. Moving back over and underneath it is the right fielder, Manami. He makes the catch, tagging at second and heading to third. That is Kobayashi, and he's going to be at third base now with 2 gone. And that will bring up the right fielder, Kai Nakagawa. Well, for Nakagawa tonight, he is 0 for 2. He's popped the first, and he has reached on an error. So 0 for 2 in this one here tonight. Our folks that are in here, they say, well, let's get the under. Eric wants to know, how did they score the 3 runs? Was it a homer? It was back-to-back-to-back-to-back singles with 2 out that got things going. Then an error, and that's how they cashed in their runs. Our friend Jerry says he just needs 7 to 8 runs. There's a fastball that misses, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, pretty crazy in this one here, how that game just unraveled. Got a 2-0 lead. You got a couple of errors by the fighters, and then all of a sudden with 2 out, became a laser festival. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now remains at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Nakagawa. Nakagawa will be followed by Masataka Yoshida. Our friend Joe says, when does it get dark in Japan as a breaking ball misses outside? The count's 2-1. If I'm not mistaken, it's generally around 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock is but I'm not sure the official sunset, and I'm not sure how they would cut it off. Based on what we're seeing here today, yesterday the clouds were pretty dark. As we said, they were calling for rain, and there was rain and some showers at times as a breaking ball misses down, and now goes to 3-1 on Nakagawa. But I would have to say in this one, stay tuned if this game ends up being a shortened affair again. I generally always say it takes about 15 minutes an inning. While we're in the top of the 5th inning, so I'd say we got at least another hour 15 in this one. But the game does slow down usually when the relievers come in, because the tempo and the pace changes from the starters. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted down the right field line, racing over as Kiyomiya, and the wind takes it for a ride, and he can't make the catch in foul territory. He was unable to make that grab, and that is just going to go as a foul ball to Nakagawa. That could come back to hurt them as well. That should have been out number 3. He overran the ball, and the ball ended up blowing back on him. As we said, it's a little bit of some of this stuff here. Alexander Leggett says, I, for one, am shocked that there are 5 runs. Well, the way this wind's blowing around here, there might be a lot more coming up here all of a sudden. It is crazy. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. The ball is belted into deep left center field, racing back, and this ball is gone. A home run, a 2-run shot by Nakagawa. I can't believe it. The pop fly that was overrun in foul territory by Kiyomiya, and sure enough, Nakagawa makes him pay with a 2-run homer here in the top of the 5th inning, and that is going to put the Buffaloes now up 4-3. It should have been the ending play. It was not officially an error charged to him because he overran the ball, and then the Nakagawa deposits that's one into the left center field bleacher area, and the score is now 4-3 for Orix. It always seems that that's where it makes you pay. And the pitcher, Uehara, his look says it all as he stares to the heavens. Can't believe that that's exactly what has happened. It makes him pay. Our friend P is God, who's on Twitch, says Moneyline is alive. And you said that it was going to cost them. Yep, absolutely. Yep, that'll always come back to pay, make you pay. There's a breaking ball that misses down to Masataka Yoshida for ball 1. The count's 1-0. For Masataka Yoshida tonight, he's officially 0 for 2. He did reach on an error his last time up and scored. He's also struck out in this one, and there's a breaking ball swung on, and this ball is driven into deep center field, racing back, and the ball is over the head of the center fielder, Imagawa. Yoshida's digging for 2, and he's going to cruise into second base with a double, as Yoshida now has got himself a hit in this one. That's going to bring up Yuma Tongu. So the balls are starting to fly all over the place now here at the Obihiro Nomori Stadium in Hokkaido. Jimmy Wynn in the house tonight. Appreciate you for being here. Spaceman V in here. Appreciate you for being here, but he's been here for a bit. All of a sudden, it has become a laser festival in Hokkaido. Our good friend Ray Nia in here as well, giving us some script. Eric says, so if it's dark and a team is up and winning, is that going to be it? Yeah, it's like old school baseball. If they have to call the game because of darkness, if it's in the 8th inning, that'll be game over. The officials will make that call. So here comes the first offering. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right center field, and this ball is going to get up the gap. It's going to get to the wall. Yoshida's coming around third. He's going to score, and that's going to increase the score to 5-3 for the Buffaloes on a RBI double by Yuma Tongu. And all of a sudden, the bats that were silent for the first 10 innings of this series have now gone crazy. And the big boss has made his way out of the dugout. He has seen enough, as that looks like it is going to be the end of the afternoon for Kenta Ihara, as his day is coming to a finish at 85 pitches in 4 2/3 innings. All of the damage here pretty much coming with 2 out. They had the leadoff single by Kobayashi. Then a couple of the hitters, Fukuda was retired on the sacrifice, so Shiro flew out. And then we had a home run by Nakagawa, and then back-to-back doubles by Yoshida and Tongu. And now we're going to the bullpen. Hang tight, everybody. We're going to be back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you, Steve, and the support you give to our channel. There is a relief pitcher now into the ballgame for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters. It is going to be a right-hander, and it's going to be Rodriguez coming in. This would be Brian Rodriguez. Brian Rodriguez on the year, he's going to be his 14th ball game that he's appearing in. He's 1-2 on the season. He has worked in 8 2/3 innings, allowing 9 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 7, and he's posted an ERA to this point of 1.04. So Brian Rodriguez entering the fray. That is who is going to be taking over here as he's completing his warm-up tosses. So I'm sure the pitching parade is about to begin after we see this right-hander work here tonight. So he's going to be facing Yuma Mune, who is 0 for 2 tonight. He bounced into a fielder's choice and struck out his 2 trips to the plate. As Yuma Tongu just had that double and that RBI to knock in Masataka Yoshida to extend the scoreline to 5-3 here. Unbelievable in this game, everybody. So here comes the first pitch from Garcia as he checks it out. So this game here was started officially at 1 o'clock Japan time. It's now 2:30 or 2:39 in Japan. So it got around 4 o'clock yesterday, and it started because of the darkness. That was the problem. The first pitch that is delivered, it was a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike from Rodriguez, and the count is 0-1 to Yuma Mune. As we said yesterday, there were significant clouds in the sky. It looked like it was going to rain. So very, very difficult windy conditions with the rain blooming. There's a fastball that misses outside. The count's now 1-1. So it just doesn't particularly matter. Now, I don't know what official time sunset is in Japan, especially in Hokkaido. It's a little bit further to the north. You can look that up easily, get your Google fingers going, and you'll be able to track that down. Our friend Caleb is here. He says the game live right now. You got it, Caleb. Welcome to the channel. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Yuma Mune as the right-hander Rodriguez gets his sign from his catcher. Rodriguez is really working slowly here. He may not be able to get through this inning, let alone to get through 9 innings. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count's now 2-1 to Mune. Rodriguez in between pitches. We talk about the tempo and the pace of the pitchers, and when the relievers come into the game, just how everything seems to slow down. And that would be the case here for the right-hander Rodriguez. He takes his sweet time as he gets the sign from his catcher Furukawa. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and count now goes to 3-1. Trevor says that, well, we're just speculating right now, Trevor, because it's 10:40 on the west coast of the United States and Canada. That puts the time at 2:40 Japan time. And yesterday the game was called at about approximately around noon. Eric had asked the question, so there's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count is now 3-2. We can't post the links to you, Eric, unfortunately, but we can give you some guidance. And if you know how to use Google, this is for everybody that's there. We encourage people to do is go and type in live QQ in your Google, and you're going to get to a site that's going to give you all kinds of Chinese characters. Once you get there, then you've got to do some navigating. If you do some navigating, you might, who knows what you might find. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into right field, and this ball is going to hook foul into the corner. It's going to keep the count at 3-2 to Mune. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. It is here in the top of the 5th inning as the Buffaloes have that. Our friend Eric says if you do that there, look at the Chinese characters or look at the old Reddit about section. That'll help you out as well. Either one of those. The old Reddit will offer you some different options. And here comes the 3-2 pitch as it is a fastball swung on his grounder right to the back to the pitcher, Rodriguez. He fields it. He tosses to first on the run, and that's going to retire Mune on a ground out 1-3 for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the 5th. Well, there was more damage done here by the Buffaloes. They had 3 runs in the inning on 4 hits. There was no errors. There was 1 runner left aboard. We are now through 4.5. It is 5-3 for the Buffaloes. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. Appreciate you guys for being here.
Game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you guys for all being here. It is going to be the 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming to bat for the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham fighters here in the bottom of the 5th inning. That means it's going to be Arizmendi, Alcantara, Chusei, Manami, and Udai for to face the new pitcher for the Buffaloes as they're going to the bullpen as well. They're going to be bringing in a left-hander here. So the night is done for the starter, Takeusa. The lefty that they are turning to, it is going to be Yamazaki making his way into the game. It's Fukuya Yamazaki. He is on the season working in his 20th game. He's 3-6 on the year. He has pitched in 98 innings. He allowed 91 hits. He's walked 22. He's struck out 80, and he's got an ERA of 3.03. So with the day off tomorrow and some stuff going on, Fukuya Yamazaki is coming in to pitch, normally a starter for the Buffaloes. So he is going to be facing Alcantara for the first time. The switch hitting Alcantara, hitting from the right side, the first time this evening, who is 0 for 1 and a walk. He takes a first pitch breaking ball for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. See, that's another thing, too, is knowing when people are coming in to gamble, knowing who's available and how they're going to do stuff. I just think it gives you the edge a little bit more when you know some of the pitchers or what the plans are. Certainly if you know that one of the starters, Yamazaki, who's coming in, will be coming in this situation, that might be changing how you're going to approach stuff as the fastball misses for a 2-0 count. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Alcantara. I just don't know always how you can make all that type of stuff. Our friend Aria asks, are we covering any other NPB games later today? Nothing today. Just as we mentioned earlier on, is normally on the weekends, I'll do at least 2, if not 3 games. This weekend is going to be a bit of an anomaly. I'm going to be doing the Dodger-Brewer game tomorrow for Major League Baseball. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to ball 4 as it is going to be a walk to Alcantara, as he's got himself a leadoff walk here in the 5th inning, and that's going to bring up Chusei Manami. But as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be flying out of Seattle, heading back to Detroit on Friday. I'm going to be away for about 10 days, so I haven't put anything up on the channel yet in terms of broadcast schedule. So we are going to stream some stuff. It'll be a limited amount while I'm away. I'm hoping to do about 3 or 4 games. So a lot's going to depend on jet lag. And am I going to be able to get up at 4 a.m. Eastern to call a game at 5? That'll be the big trick. So, or am I going to just stay up and do the game as it is live and try to sleep later in the day? I don't know how that'll work. So hopefully you guys will be able to pop in on this. There is a fastball that catches the inside corner, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Manami. So no balls and 1 strike. But certainly won't be doing back-to-back tonight, as I do have to be up in about 7 hours' time at this point. So no balls and 1 strike to Manami as the lefty Yamazaki delivers. It's a fastball that misses down, and the count's now 1-1. So since the lefty has come into the ball game, 7 pitches and 5 of them have been for balls. He hasn't got his release point here yet. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. So if you bookmark the channel, and it'll give you the notifications, and we will have the upcoming events announced ahead of time, so you guys can pop in and check out the NPB games. But definitely won't be doing anything Thursday, Friday, or Saturday this week, unfortunately. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 2-1. We may be able to squeeze a Sunday night game in. I guess it depends on how much sleep I get on that red eye from Seattle. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Manami as the runner at first base is Alcantara. It's a 5-3 lead for the Buffaloes. All the scoring for both of these teams have come in the 4th and the 5th inning. So in a game where some of our patrons were asking if it was going to be an over or an under game, well, it looked like it was going to be the under for so long, and now it looks like it's going to be the over. As there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 2-2. If it's not already surpassed that, I want to say it was 5.5 or 6.5 early line. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Manami digs in here, waiting on the offering here from the lefty Yamazaki. Holds set. And now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is popped up over on the right field side, moved toward the foul line. Coming in and making the catch on it is Kai Nakagawa, and that is going to retire Manami for the first out of the inning. So 1 away here, and that's going to bring up the catcher, Yudai Furukawa. I didn't acknowledge Demon Slayer in there earlier. He is one of our regulars. We appreciate him, as always, for coming on in. He was telling us last week, I think he had went out and got some crab, as he was down in the Bay Area of San Francisco. So Yudai Furukawa steps to the plate. He's 0 for 1 tonight. He's flown out to center field, and he has walked his 2 trips to the plate. And here comes the offering now from Yamazaki, who delivers a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Left-hander against the left-hander, as this is the first time that Furukawa is seeing Yamazaki tonight. Friend Trevor says, under 9, pray for him. I hope that's what you had for the first 5 innings, because it doesn't look like it's going to shape up. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-2. My friend Trekkie says it's over for him. It might be over in 1 more run. That would be all she wrote in this one. So no balls and 2 strikes to Furukawa. As he waits here on the offering from Yamazaki, who kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded foul over to the first base coach's box. Our friend Demon Slayer says he doesn't want to even say how much money he put on Orix. Well, they have the 5-3 lead here in the bottom of the 5th inning. The Buffaloes are now got to play some defense and keep the fighters in check. Here's the pitch from Yamazaki. It's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The ball gets away from the catcher. And moving down to second base on the wild pitch is Alcantara, but it is going to be a strikeout as first base was occupied. So Furukawa is gone down on strikes, but advancing to second on the wild pitch is Alcantara. That's going to bring up the shortstop, Daigo Kamikawa Kabata. Well, for Kamikawa Kabata tonight, he's had a pretty good ball game. He's 1 for 1. He singled and scored a run in the 4th inning. He had a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd. But he's made a couple of sparkling defensive plays, robbing some of the Buffaloes from would-be hits. As here comes the first offering from the lefty Yamazaki, who kicks and delivers a breaking ball. It's taken for a called strike. The count is now 0-1 to Kamikawa Kabata. Our friend Demon Slayer is able to do that. Our friend The Living Room is in the house, and we got Ralph Mueller, who has subbed to the channel. We appreciate you, Ralph. Thank you for popping in. Everybody is in here tonight. Living Room is back in the house. There's a fastball swung on. Is grounded slowly over to the pitcher. Yamazaki fields it. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 1-3 to end the inning here. That's gone for out number 3, and that will do it here for the Fighters in their half of the 5th inning. Well, we got our proverbial Japanese halftime, and so that is where we stand. There was no runs in the inning. On no hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left to board. We're now through 5 complete. We'll have our extended timeout here as they come out to clean the field. We'll be back here in just a couple moments, everybody. We appreciate everybody for stopping in tonight. Appreciate you guys all for checking in here tonight. Here's one of our Hall of Fame memories. Welcome back, everybody. We're still waiting for the game to resume here as they are out. Remember, it's a game that has a diamond much similar to the Koshin Stadium in Osaka where the Hanshin Tigers play their games. It is an all-dirt infield, so it's going to take a little extra time to groom as we are going to be resuming the action here in just a moment. 5-8-1 for the Buffaloes, 3-4-2 for the Fighters. That is the stat line on this one here. Hang tight. We'll be right back after a couple more of our little infomercials. Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you all for being here. I wouldn't worry about the darkness yet until it gets to the 4 o'clock hour, and that's another hour away, as we are going to be going to the top of the 6th inning. Remember, we said there is no lights at this stadium here, as we talked a little bit tonight about the Obihiro Nomori Stadium in the Hokkaido region. It's the second night in a row that they've played at a different stadium. It's a one-off game where they do these one-off games throughout the year. We're talking a little bit about that earlier on, saying I think it's a good thing because it does get into the marketplaces or into sub areas where maybe the regular fans don't necessarily always get a chance to see games. Now, mind you, it is not that far from where the Sapporo Dome is. And so, there's certain regions where maybe fans don't always get a chance to see their team regular or maybe can't travel to see the team. And so when they play these type of games, I think it's kind of neat. But at the same time, too, when you build your team to play in a certain building or a certain venue like the Sapporo Dome, then you have to go out here. It's like taking the home field advantage away from your team, so you miss out on some of that stuff. So it is definitely one of those type of things. It's 3 o'clock right now in Japan, or Japan time, and as we said yesterday at 4 o'clock, they approximately about 3 minutes after 4, they called the game at the ballpark yesterday at the Kashiro Citizen Stadium, but it was different conditions than this. It was dark clouds. It looked like it was ominous for rain. The wind was blowing like crazy, and so that was a bit of a problem. Whereas today we got bright skies. Now, I would assume on a day like today, when you get to around 5 o'clock, that's where it's going to start to change a little bit, and that would probably be somewhere between 4:30 and 5 o'clock local time, where depending on how these shadows are and where everything is at, where they might be thinking of that type of consideration. But this game here is now moving to the top of the 6th inning. Brian Rodriguez is still on in relief for the Fighters. He's the second pitcher used. So he will be coming back out here, and he is going to be facing Kenya Wakatsuki, Tetsuya Yamashi, and Kotaro Kobayashi, the 7, 8, and 9 hitters for the Buffaloes. It was Wakatsuki who singled home a pair of runs back in the 4th inning. He is 1 for 2 tonight. He's also bounced into a fielder's choice. And so here is the first pitch from Rodriguez. It's a fastball swung on and grounded foul just past the third base coach's box. And we're back underway here in the top of the 6th inning. So no balls and 1 strike to Wakatsuki. He bats from the right side against the right-handed throwing Rodriguez, who works from the stretch position, though there's nobody on. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, and coming in on it and making the catch is Manami. That is going to be out number 1. It was a good swing by Wakatsuki, but the ball just hung up a little bit there, as he's going to be retired for the first out of the inning on a line drive to the right fielder for out number 1, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Tetsuya Yamashi. Our friend John Cardona says, did the Fighters have a chance? All I can see is the box score and being out hit. Well, if you would have asked me a couple innings ago, yeah, I think they do have a chance still. There's a bunt attempted by the second baseman Yamashi, and it just rolls foul down the third base line, and the count is quickly 0-1. I would have written the Fighters off for dead before, but playing in front of this type of crowd, the crowd is a little bit more energized maybe than they normally would have at their home stadium, and it's a pretty healthy crowd. As we said, it seats about 23,000. There's another bunt attempt by Yamashi, and this time it's bunted foul behind home plate, and the count now goes to 0-2. Our friend the Demon Slayer says, you need some 1, 2, 3 innings before dusk, and I also agree with that. We're going to need to quicken the pace up of this one here, because even if it gets into dusk, depending upon where the sun is setting and how it sets on the field of play, they're going to get some longer shadows. As there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count is now 1 ball and 2 strikes. They're going to have some marathon innings that could pose a problem. Just a side note, and off of topic of this game a little bit, I saw Chris Gittins played his first game yesterday after being out since April. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Counts 1-2. And for those of you who don't know who Chris Gittins is, he was an off-season signing by the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles, as he was originally in the New York Yankees organization. And we were doing a game against the Saitama Cebu Lions back in it was either late March or early April. And he had swung at a pitch and fouled it off, and he'd separated his shoulder or dislocated his shoulder on a swing and a miss. And there's a swing and a miss there by Yamashi. And he has retired on strikes for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to bring up the shortstop, Kentaro Kobayashi. Our friend Trevor asked the question in here. He says, in last night's game, canceled, does it happen often? Well, not really. That's rare because, as we said, this is a one-off in the stadiums that they're playing in. It's something like that would happen. And every other stadium has lights. And there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1. At least the regular stadiums that they play in. These are these one-offs where they play here in August with the 2 different venues. But these ones don't have lights. They're a step down. Our friend Jimmy Wynn says, what's the website for the stream? We don't post the website, Jimmy, on the channel here, but we can give you the information. Our friend Alexander Leggett had posted it up earlier in the chat. You're going to have to use Google, and Google would take you to Live QQ. And you're going to see some Chinese characters, and you're going to have to navigate around a little bit. There's a fastball that misses inside. Counts now 2-1 to Kobayashi. Either that, or you can go to the old Reddit page, and there's a list of links that will help you out over there that can give you some offerings. So here comes the 2-1 pitch. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is now 3-1. But what a lot of people do is the feed is in Japanese, so you would have to kind of sync your video up to the play-by-play here. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Our friend Jerry back up earlier in the chat says they went, actually it was 10 innings without scoring any runs. And then all of a sudden in the last 2 innings, they put 8 on the board between the 2 teams. So it was an offensive explosion. They may go back into dormancy for another 4 more innings after this. Who knows? Here's the fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side, and the count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is. Haven't been keeping up with the chat. Living Room says he's got some challenges there, and we didn't see that. There's a fastball that misses down. It's going to be ball 4. So the trend continues here. They can't seem to always get 3 out in a row here. In the first inning, they retired to side 1-2-3. They did it unconventionally in the third. But now a 2-out walk to Kentaro Kobayashi, and that's going to bring up the top of the order in Shuhei Fukuda. As Fukuda steps to the plate, he is 1 for 2 tonight. He's got a single. He's also had a sacrifice bunt, and he's grounded out. His average has been raised to 272. He's got no homers and 18 RBIs. As he bats from the left side against the right-handed throwing Rodriguez, who now kicks and delivers. He squares the bunt, but he takes a ball on the outside. So 1 ball and no strikes. Living Room says he's feeling pretty good. He's been waiting 2 years for the MRI. I know what that felt like a number of years ago, having to wait forever. Our friend Jerry says walks and errors lead to runs, and that's exactly what it was. The errors had come up and reared their ugly head and had stimulated some stuff. That's why it started to make the game interesting. I always say I like it when my teams play boring baseball. When we're playing boring baseball, it means we're making routine plays routinely. I like other teams to play exciting baseball. That's where they're throwing the ball around, where they can't catch, they can't throw, can't do a darn thing. And there's a fastball that misses outside. The count is now 2 balls and no strikes to Fukuda. So Demon Slayer has given you all that information there. Hopefully that works for you. Our friend Trevor Parker asked the question, who's pitching for the Dodgers tomorrow? It's Andrew Heaney. going up against Aaron Ashby, a battle of two lefties. As here comes the 2-0 pitch. As Rodriguez delivers, it's a fastball that misses outside. It's 3-0. Again, Fukuda had squared the bunt. So 3 balls and no strikes. That last pitch was at 150 kilometers an hour. That puts it at about 94 miles an hour. Our friend Truckee says the Dodgers have been ripping it, and that is facts. The Dodgers are playing some of the best baseball in this last 6-week stretch I've seen anybody play in a long time. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4. So back-to-back walks here with 2 outs have the Buffaloes with runners at first and second. That's going to bring Koshi Oshiro to the plate. Well, Oshiro, and it's also going to bring the pitching coach out to the mound. Oshiro has been a bit of a rally killer here tonight, as he is 0 for 3. He's struck out twice, and he's flown out to right field. Our friend Trevor Parker says he's been putting money on the Dodgers and the Cardinals this whole month. 2 teams that definitely worth investing in. Jerry asked the question, does batting average even matter these days? To be honest with you, Jerry, I never put a ton of stock into batting average. To me, what I always think about is the on-base percentage is more important. How they get on is more important than just the hitting. Certainly, you want guys to be able to swing the bats, but is that ability to walk, is that ability to reach base, and also to do it with some juice. So here comes the first offering to the center fielder Oshiro, and he takes a fastball down for ball 1, and the count is now 1-0. That last pitch was at 97 miles an hour. Rodriguez having some challenges here. Our friend Aria says, here to OPB. Yeah, an OPB plus the slugging OPS. There's a ground ball softly hit to the shortstop. It is fielded by Kamakara Kabata. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Oshiro on a ground out 6-3. And that is going to do it here for the Buffaloes in the top of the 6th inning. There were no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and 2 runners left the board. We're now through 5.5. It is the Buffaloes 5, the Fighters 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back here in just a couple moments. We appreciate you all for being here. Hang tight. We'll be back after this. Another one of our Japanese Hall of Fame memories. If you ever get a chance, go to the Japanese Baseball Hall of Fame. It's at the Tokyo Dome. If you're ever in Japan, if we can ever get into the country again, it's a fabulous place to go. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. The sun is starting to go down, but it is still time for baseball in Japan. It is going to be Kensuke Yando, Go Matsumoto, and Kataro Kiyomiya. That means it's going to be the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here in the batting order to face Yamazaki, who is on in relief of the starter Takayasu. So Fukuya Yamazaki in as he's ready to go again for his 2nd inning of work. And here's the first pitch. It is a fastball that just misses outside for ball 1. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. I'm going to talk a little bit about some of that stuff, and that is there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 1-1. We started the channel actually created the channel in 2010, way back in December of Last Drops Baseball, and we never did anything really with it until the February of 2020. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike. The count is now 1-2. And it has gone up and down in different ways a little bit. And we really appreciate how the folks have taken to the live commentary, and we appreciate guys that have come in to listen. There's the 1-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball that swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. And it's been a lot of fun in doing some of the stuff and making some different videos and just keeping it light, baseball light, anything that people do. Sometimes we open packs of cards. Sometimes we post our polls, which we've been doing quite a bit lately. Just trying to keep the baseball audience engaged. So we do, as we approach that mark, and not only do we approach the mark of the 1,000, it's also going to be the 4,000 watch hours. It's also going to fall with it and may likely fall tomorrow as well. So we hit both of those as there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count's now 2-2. But it's definitely fun, rather than just sitting and watching the games, to be able to sit, describe it, give it a call. That's where we're at here. And so hopefully that is where we do some of that stuff. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that misses inside, and the count is now 3-2 to Kondo. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Kondo. Kondo is 1 for 2. He's got a single and a run scored, and he's flown out to left. As we have it here, as the lefty is now working set. And here comes the pitch from Yamazaki. He delivers a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Demon Slayer says, I was going to check the sunset time in the city. That would probably be the best thing to do. Aria also mentions a great thing, and there's a break ball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. Racing back over on it is Fukuda. He makes the catch on the warning track, and he's going to haul that one in, and that is going to retire Kondo for the first out of the inning. That's the second time he sent a ball all the way to the warning track. And the second time that that Fukuda has been able to make the grab. Demon Slayer is asking this city. It's Hokkaido, H-O. Well, it's right across the bottom. If you look at the ticker, type in Hokkaido, Hokkaido. That'll give you the opportunity to pull that up there, Demon Slayer. You can look for the sunset times there. The first pitch is a breaking ball that catches the outside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. It's Go Matsumoto at the plate. Matsumoto is 1 for 1 tonight. He's got a single and a walk. He's also scored a run and driven in a run. And here comes the 0-1 pitch from Yamazaki. It's a breaking ball that just misses down, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. So the right-hander Matsumoto digging in. As the lefty holds set, now he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded through the 6 hole into left field. And that is going to be a base hit single for Matsumoto, as he has got himself a single, and that is going to bring up first baseman Kataro Kiyomiya. Yeah, 6:18 is probably right. So if 6:18 is official sunset, you could probably bank on 5:30, I would think, probably being where the darkness would start to set in, or maybe even 5:15, an hour beforehand. Our friend Truckee says tonight there's no chance that this game is going to end early. Probably not tonight, unless it goes extra innings. That would be the only way, is that the game would have to go extra innings and end in a tie. They wouldn't get all through 12. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to second. They flip it to the shortstop, covering 2 for 1. Back to first, the double play, as Kiyomiya has grounded into the 4-6-3 double play. It's just not his night tonight, as he has been responsible for the error, and now he is a rally killer here in the 6th. And that will do it here for the Fighters. They go unconventionally in order 1-2-3. With no runs, there was a hit. There was no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through 6 complete. Your score is 5-3 for the Buffaloes over the Fighters. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments. We appreciate everybody for being here. Appreciate you, Steve, and we appreciate Johnny Loves Jesus as he becomes number 999 to subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you for doing that. And now we have the 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming up for the Orix Buffaloes, but we do have a pitching change as the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters have gone back to the bullpen. As we have a right-hander coming in, it's going to be Furukawa taking over on the hill. This is Yuri Furukawa. And so the ironic part about this is we now have a battery of Furukawas. The pitcher is Yuri Furukawa, and it is Yudai Furukawa, the catcher. So to keep things straight, the pitcher Yuri is the third one of the night for the Fighters as he is taking over here on the mound. Well, about Yuri Furukawa, this is his first season with the Fighters. He pitched the last 3 years with the Amuri Giants, and before that he was at Tohoku Rocket and Golden Eagle. It's going to be his 32nd appearance of the year. He's 0-1. He's worked 33 innings. He's allowed 32 hits. He has walked 22 and has struck out 32. Is where he sits here with an ERA of 3.27. And so it's going to be Nakagawa, Yoshida, and Tongu to face him here in the inning. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses inside for ball one. The count is 1-0. For Nakagawa tonight, he had the 2-run blast in the 5th inning to propel the Buffaloes into the lead as the fastball catches the outside corner. The count's now 1-1. On the evening, he's 1 for 3. He's got the homer and 2 RBIs. He's also reached on an error, and he has popped out to first. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Nakagawa. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into center field. Moving underneath it is Imagawa. He makes the catch, and that will retire Nakagawa for the first out of the inning. 1 up and 1 away, and that brings up Masataka Yoshida. So for Yoshida, he is on the evening 1 for 3. He's doubled, he's reached on an error, and he has struck out in his 3 trips to the plate. So he has scored 2 runs on the evening as well. So Yoshida batting from the left side against the right-handed throwing Furukawa. Worked from the set position, even though there's nobody on base. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Apologies there as we fall a little bit behind on the chat. And it is 1 ball and no strikes here to Yoshida. And they kick and deliver. It's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. And the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Yoshida digs in as he waggles the bat, waiting on the offering here from Furukawa. And here he kicks and delivers. It is a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted into deep right field. Moving back onto the warning track and making the catch right up against the wall is Murakami. Chusei Manami. Fantastic job there by being able to get to the wall. Holy smokes, they almost sent that one deep and out. Watch that one again on the replay. That was a pitch that hung up in the zone. Yoshida hardly looked like he hit it. And when he hit it, it was like his helmet was falling off. And the next thing you know, the ball went all the way to the warning track, and there it was. Manami making the catch for the second out of the inning. It's going to retire Yoshida for out number 2, and that's going to bring up Yuma Tongu. And Trevor was all excited. They want to keep it at the 8 runs. Well, Tongu steps up to the plate. He's 3 for 3 today. He's got 2 singles and a double. He's also driven in a run and scored a run. And here comes the first pitch. It is a breaking ball that is chopped foul behind home plate. The count is 0-1. Tongu entered the ball game tonight hitting .221. Has got himself raised his average up here this evening. As Tongu waggles the bat, waiting on the offering here from Furukawa. Friend Demon Slayer says he could use some insurance runs. And here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side. The count's 0-2. Johnny Loves Jesus says these pitchers are no good. Well, I think the reliever for the Buffaloes, who's actually a starter, Yamazaki, is not so bad. But the pitchers for the Fighters are a lot to be desired, that's for sure. Whatever they're doing in terms of getting their wins, it is smoke and mirrors for the Fighters. The pitching staff is a little bit dicey. Here comes the 0-2 offering. As Furukawa holds, now time is called, looked like a Mexican standoff as he was waiting forever to deliver the pitch. Our friend Trevor is pleading to keep it at the under 9. Our friend in the living room says, hope it's Paul Coffey. Yeah, that's like an Easter egg. All of a sudden, Paul Coffey shows up out of nowhere. There's a breaking ball that's swung on and fouled away, and the count is now 0-2. Amazing. They go how many innings? 2 teams, 10 innings without scoring a run between them, and then they get 8 runs in the 4th and the 5th combined. And now they're back to the goose eggs again. This game might end up as goose eggs all the way to the finish. This has been a really weird 2-game set. Here comes the 0-2 pitch, and it's a split finger pitch and misses down. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they said he didn't go. That's going to be 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tongu. Our friend Jerry says you should send your broadcasts to, and we're not sure who. F Brothers says, is there 3 outs? There's about to be 3 outs if they can finish off this hitter. There's 2 outs right now here in the inning. There's a fastball that is spiked in front of the plate by Furukawa. That's going to run the count to 2-2. Friend Jerry says we should MLB the show and audition to be the next game broadcaster. I should just go over to EA Sports and knock on their door over here. I don't know who's producing what they're producing these days. Got a funny story on EA Sports. We used to have some of our players would actually go and do some of the running for them. And so not all the players, they would put the suits on and they would have the ping pong balls or the reverse engineering that's there as the fastball is fouled away. And the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes to Tongu. We used to be able to see some of the gait, how some of our players would run when some of the guys were running from home to first base. It was kind of funny because it wouldn't always take all the major league players to do that. But they needed some people to be able to have running simulation and swings and different stuff. There's the fastball swung on. It is lifted into shallow right field. Moving in on it is Manami. He's going to make the catch, and that is going to do it as Tongu is retired for the 3rd out of the inning. So there was no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. And by the looks of it, we're getting some congratulations on 1,000. And that's what it sounds like. Appreciate everybody. We thank you guys for doing it. And we appreciate everybody for listening in. Hang tight. We'll be back here in just a couple moments as we are moving now to the bottom of the 7th inning. Your score, it is the Orix Buffaloes 5 and the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple moments after this. Great night tonight for baseball and for everybody who is listening into the channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is a short-lived workout for Yamazaki as his night is going to be done as the Buffaloes are going back to the bullpen. They are calling on the right-hander, and it is going to be Taki Higa coming to the game. The right-hander has been with Orix his entire career. He's been in the NPB since 2010. He's worked at 23 ball games already this year. He's 3-0 on the year. 17 in the third innings. He's allowed 16 hits. Only walked one. He struck out 18, and he's got an ERA of 2.60. There are some defensive changes that are now happening for the Buffaloes, and we're going to have to catch up on some of those for you as we move along. But we have some wholesale changes around and about. I'll have to catch up on some of that as we are going to get them in there at bats. So apologize to you for that. But we do have a new center fielder in the game. As it looks like Oshiro's day is done. So Higa on the mound in relief, and he is going to be facing the 9, 1, and 2 hitters in the fighter batting order. That means Yuma Imagawa. Then the top of the order, we'll see Ryota Yachi for the first time today, and there's Mendy Alcantara. And here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball swung on it. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Imagawa. So Higa into the motion. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. I can see why Higa is difficult to hit. He is really he's a side armor that maybe he's just a little higher than off of the side. And he's one of those guys that we call an elbow lifter. He never really gets the ball up into the top of the delivery. He's lifts with the elbow and then he slings it down. But you can get some funky delivery coming out of this right-hander here. And a lot of depth on the pitch. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-2. So he certainly provides a different look than what we've seen so far. And that's one thing that I'll say about the Buffaloes and their coaching staff. They started the right-hander to begin the ball game, Takeusa. Then they bring in the lefty, Yamazaki, for a couple innings. Now they bring in this righty, and everybody's got kind of a different angle and a different look to it. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 1-2. So some interesting pieces here we get a chance to see. Our EPH brothers helping us out. We appreciate you. That sounded like it was number 1,000 off to you. Demon Slayer says 3 hours till the sunset. Probably not going to be in the cards with this one. Friend of the living room is waving the pom-poms. We thank you for that. Jerry is hoping for a 5-3 finish. This college football season for sure this weekend. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Higa took a little something off of that pitch, and Imagawa was way out in front. He has retired on strikes here for the first out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the top of the order, and it'll be the first time that Ryota Yachi is coming to bat tonight as he is replacing Takuya Kori. Well, Yachi was in the ball game last night as he got a chance to be able to play for the Fighters. Maybe he wasn't in the game last night. I'm looking at somebody it was Sato who was in the game last evening at third base. Saw Yachi on the weekend. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. And here's the offering. It is a fastball swung on it. It has popped up behind home plate. It's going to reach the seats. Now the count is 0-2. So Yachi in the ball game here. First time in this one. Our friend Truckee says, where is our friend here? Truckee was saying that 5-3, everybody goes home happy. There's a ground ball hit over to second. It is fielded by the second baseman, Yamashi, who throws to first, and that's going to retire Yachi on a ground out 4-3 for the second out of the inning. And now that's going to bring up Mendy Alcantara. Our friend F Brother says, how many players in this league are in the MLB? Or I think he wants to know how many players in this league probably had played in the MLB. There's actually quite a few players over time. I would say if I had to put a pin on it, you're probably looking at about 5 players per team. There's some teams with more and some teams with less. There is a fastball that swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Alcantara. Alcantara tonight is officially 0 for 1. He struck out his first time up, and then he's walked 2 times since. He's also been caught stealing. And here's the pitch. It is a 100-kilometer-hour breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. Our friend in the living room is starting to rattle off some players who were in the big leagues. Last year for the Buffaloes, they had Adam Jones, who was, of course, probably one of the bigger names more recently outside of Freddie Galvis. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is hit to deep left center field. Moving back on it and making the catch is the center fielder for the Buffaloes, who the change had come in for, and that is going to retire Alcantara. We're going to have to get the changes when we return here, as that is going to be Alcantara gone for out number 3. So they go in order here in the 7th inning, do the Fighters. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 7 complete. Your score is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 5 and the Orix. Sorry, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters are trailing the Orix Buffaloes 5-3. We'll be back in just a moment. I got to get myself a drink of water. Welcome back, everybody. It is another pitching change for the Fighters. It's going to be Naoya Ishikawa on in relief. He's going to be pitcher number 4 used tonight by the big boss. It is going to be his 26th appearance. He's 2-1 on the year. He has a couple of saves. He has worked 22 and a third innings. He's allowed 19 hits, 6 walks. He's struck out 27. He's got an ERA of 3.22. This is his 5th year in the NPB. The 26-year-old was originally a 4th-round pick in the 2014 NPB draft. He was taken out of Yamagata Central High School in Japan, and so he is the pitcher now taking over here in the ballgame, and he is facing, for the Buffaloes, it's going to be Yuma Mune to get things going here. The 6, 7, 8 hitters in the order, Mune, Wakatsuki, and Yamashi. As the first pitch is a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Check that. 1 ball and no strikes to Mune. I'm starting to fade a little bit here on us, guys. I got to keep my A game going. It's getting into the deep water. As there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count's now 1-1. I'm trying to multitask a little bit here because I need to get the updated substitutions for the Buffaloes, as we do have some changes, as we mentioned before. They are a little bit slow on our end because we have to find out who they've actually put in the ballgame. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count's now 2-1. Sometimes the defensive changes come a little bit too fast and furious. I'm going to need to get that somewhere, that assist, to be able to do that. Maybe one of those Japanese cheerleaders would be able to assist me. Tongu is out of the game, just so that you're aware, and it is Kodai Sano who is now in center field. Center fielder Oshiro has moved into second base. Yamashi has gone from second to first. So the only actual change is Sano is in and Tongu is finished. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Mune swings on that last pitch. And the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that just misses off the outside corner from Ishikawa. And the count now runs full to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. So that's the funny part that I look at sometimes, is I say, here's the reward of the night. Yuma Tongu has 3 hits, 2 singles, and a double in the ball game, and his 4 trips to the plate, and he gets substituted out. So he's got 3 of the 8 hits, and now he finds himself on the bench. And there's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is belted into right field. Moving underneath it is the right fielder, Manami. He makes the catch. That is going to retire Mune for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the catcher, Kenya Wakatsuki. For Wakatsuki, he is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single, and he's knocked a pair of runs in. He's lined to the right fielder and bounced into a fielder's choice. His 3 chips to the plate. And here's the first offering. It is a fastball. It's taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to the right-handed hitting catcher. Our friend Joe, if he's looking for an update, the shadows are starting to get a little bit longer. As here's the pitch. It is a split finger pitch, swung on and missed, and the count is now 0-2. But we probably are going to get this one in today, one would think. Don't think we're going to have to worry about the game being postponed or not. As here comes the 0-2 pitch. And that's a fastball that misses down, and it squirts away from the catcher Furukawa, and that's going to run the count to 1-2. Our friend F. Brothers in here. He says, it looks like he's New Jersey. Our friend, the Demon Slayer, says the Korean and Japanese cheerleaders says he maybe wants them to move east. As there's a fastball swung on and fouled away on the third base side that keeps the count at 1-2 to Wakatsuki. Well, I have to say the Japanese people as a whole, as a culture, there's a fastball that misses down and the count is 2-2. Have to be one of the most friendliest cultures, unassuming cultures ever. When I was in Osaka a couple of years ago, I was sitting at a Starbucks and there was a gal. She came in and sat down beside me, took her coat off, put her purse down, sat her wallet down, went off to the washroom, came back, and then picked up her wallet, took her money out, set the wallet back down, walked and went to get her order. I'm just saying that would never happen in North America. That wallet would be gone so fast as there's a fastball that misses outside and the count's now 3-2 to Wakatsuki. Our friend Conrad W. is in here. He says, this thing going over the 10.5 or not? It's probably not. But who knows? All the runs came in the 2-inning spurt. There's the 3-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball's lined down the right field line, but it's going to slice foul into the corner. That's going to keep the count at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Wakatsuki. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Our friend the living room says, yeah, about 15 minutes from Detroit. Yeah, I'll probably be getting something to eat. Probably in the next week or so. We're going to go play a little bit of blitz ball and hold it down there with the living room and the rest of his gang. So we'll see if any of that's going to be able to work. And there is a offering here from Ishikawa that misses down, and that's going to be ball 4 to Wakatsuki. As he's aboard with a walk here, so a 1-out walk, and that's going to bring up Yamashi to the plate. Yamashi, he is 0 for 3 tonight. He's struck out, he's grounded to short, and he has flown out to center field. And here comes the offering from the right-hander who delivers a fastball. It's popped up foul. It's going to reach the netting behind home plate, and that's going to run the count to 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. So Yamashi, struggling at the plate, entered the ball game tonight hitting 188. Now he's 0 for 3 on the evening tonight. As the right-hander holds at the belt, and now he throws over to first base, and getting back in time is base runner Wakatsuki. Certainly in this situation here, probably a double play candidate. Yamashi does run okay, but one would have to think they would probably do it. He looks like he's squaring the bunt. So what might be a good situation with Kobayashi on deck, and he is squaring the bunt, and he does get it down. And it is a fair ball. The catcher picks it up, and that is Furukawa. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Yamashi on a sacrifice, 2-4. It's going to advance Wakatsuki into scoring position with 2 out, and that is going to bring up the shortstop, Kotaro Kobayashi. Well, for Kobayashi tonight, he's 1 for 2. He's also walked. He has singled and scored a run. So he steps up to the plate. As Kobayashi facing the right-hander here for the first time. And now he steps off the mound as Ishikawa off the backside of the rubber, and he's ready to go again. Kobayashi's got 6 homers and 30 RBIs on the season. As he waits on the offering here from the right-hander. As Ishikawa kicks and delivers, it is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Everybody here is hoping for the elimination of Kobayashi here. Kobayashi might have had his 1 hit for the evening. A base hit here would potentially score the runner from second. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Got to be able to keep this one in check. As the Buffaloes have 4 outs left and 6 outs left for the Fighters in this one. So here comes the 0-2 offering. As the right-hander holds set. Now he kicks and delivers as a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to short. It is fielded by Kamikawa Kabata. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 6-3 to end the inning. That will do it here for the Buffaloes in the top of the 8th inning. There was no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 8th inning. It is the Orix Buffaloes 5, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a couple of moments after this to answer Jerry's question. How many games in this league? I believe 143 is the exact number, but we'll be back in just a moment and try to verify that for you when we return.
And the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We appreciate you guys for being here and also supporting our channel. Our friend EPH says, are these paid sponsors? No, they're not. They're friends of our channel, and we support those guys. Steve Rademacher and Matt Hollis. We enjoy those guys and what they do, and obviously they support what we do over here. So if you get a chance, go check them out. It is going to be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters coming to bat for the Fighters in their half of the inning. And it is going to be Chusei Manami, Yudai Furukawa, and Daigo Karakabata. And they do have a pitching change here now coming up for the Orix Buffaloes, as again they are going back to the bullpen. It's going to be a pitcher who we saw last night in the ball game, and this is going to be Shota Abe. So he is on in relief. This is going to be pitcher number 4 used tonight by the Buffaloes. So Abe on in relief. Here to face, scheduled to face Manami, but it looks like we have a pinch hitter on our hands. We'll get you that in just a moment. And the first pitch from Abe is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So for the Fighters here, they have inserted in Kimura in the pinch hit here. This is Fuminori Kimura, or Fumikazu Kimura, I should say. It's a breaking ball down, and the count is now 1-1. So Manami's night is done. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Fumikazu Kimura. And here comes the pitch. It is a split finger pitch. It's swung on and missed. It's now 1-2. This is his second season with the Fighters. He spent a lot of time with the Saitama Cebu Lions. He's batting .200 on the year. He's got 1 homer and 3 RBIs. He began his career way back in 2007 in the NPB. I would call him a marginal player at best. He's played 691 games in his career. And Here comes the 1-2 offering. As Abbey kicks and delivers, it's a split finger pitch and misses down, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. One would have to think that the soon-to-be 34-year-old is more of a stable pony for the younger players than anything else. As here comes the offering from Abbey as he checks the side, and now he kicks and delivers. It's a changeup swung on and missed. And Kimura is gone on strikes for out number 1 here in the 8th inning. That is going to bring up the catcher, Yudai Furukawa. So for Furukawa on the evening, he's 0 for 2 tonight. He has flown to center and he's struck out. He's also walked in his 3 trips to the plate. He bats from the left side, although is this going to be a pinch hitter for him? Nope, not at all. It's still for 27. I have a hard time with the gold numbering on the players' jerseys. Last night as they were wearing it tight, it is a light blue on the back. They still have that gold on the front. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. Moving back on it and making the catch is Sano, and that is going to retire Furukawa for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 away, and that's going to leave it all up to Daigo Kamikawa Kabata. So for Kamikawa Kabata tonight, he's got a single in 3 trips. He's officially 1 for 2 as he's grounded out to the pitcher and he's had a sacrifice bunt. So 1 for 2 officially on the evening. But we said he's had a sparkling game at shortstop. And here comes the first pitch from Abbey. It is a fastball that catches the inside corner for a called strike. The count is 0-1. He sure didn't like that pitch. He took a look back at the home plate umpire. Our friend in the living room says, that's sound advice. Bet against the Lions until we tell you otherwise. There's a fastball swung on it. It is grounded over to first. It is fielded neatly, and it is going to retire Kamikawa Kabata on a ground out to 3 for out number 3, and that will do it here in the 8th inning. As there were no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We are now moving to the 9th inning. There will be another pitching change when we come back. Hang tight, everybody. It is the top of the 9th coming up. Your score is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters trailing the Orix Buffaloes 5-3. We'll be right back after this, everybody. We're glad you guys could be in here with us tonight. We're having a great fun in the stuff tonight. Welcome back, everybody. The Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters are going back to the bullpen as they are calling on a left-hander here to face the Buffaloes in the 9th inning. It's going to be Ryuji Kidaura as he is taking over on the mound here. The left-hander is appearing in his 10th ball game. He's worked 6 1/3 innings. He's allowed 9 hits. He has walked 4. He's struck out 5, and he's got an ERA of 2.84. So the 22-year-old left-hander now on in relief. He is going to be the 5th pitcher used tonight by the big boss. As we do have the change in the last half inning is defensively, it will be Kimura in to replace Manami in right field. So that is the pitching change here. We did have a question in the chat. Is there going to be another game tonight? Well, we won't be covering anything else tonight. So this is going to be it for us this evening after this one is finished. I would take you through an NPB out-of-town scoreboard, but all the other games are later starts. They'll all go off at 2 a.m. Pacific or 5 a.m. Eastern, and the first pitch is a fastball Delivered to Shuhei Fukuda that misses outside for ball one. It's Fukuda, and then it is going to be Oshiro and Nakagawa. There's a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. So Trevor asked the question, any other streams tonight? Not for us tonight, but there is a full slate of games across the NPB. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. As he kicks and delivers, it is a fastball that just misses up and away. Count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. I have to say, I usually do fairly decently with the Japanese names, but Kitara is the pitcher here, and I'm struggling with this one. And there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count's now 2-2. I think it's Kitara is how they would say it in Japan. That last pitch, boy, oh boy, that was a very favorable call for the home team here. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is to Shuhei Fukuda. Fukuda, Oshiro, and Nakagawa here in the 9th inning. And what also is interesting is just how the hits have come to an end. The Buffalo's last hit came back in the 5th inning. They had 4 hits in the inning, and they've had nothing since. And the hits came in bunches for the Fighters. They had 4 hits in the 4th inning. They had nothing before and only 1 hit after. Crazy how they strung them all together as a fastball misses upstairs. The count is now 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Demon Slayer says other people do the KBO, but it's in Japanese and everything else. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is driven into deep right center field. Racing back on it is Imagawa, and he's going to make the catch on the run on the warning track, and that is going to retire Fukuda. Oh boy, Fukuda set that one a long way, but great job by Imagawa to run that one down. As he's getting a nice round of applause from the patrons in Hokkaido. That is going to be the first out of the inning. That is going to bring up the batter Koji Oshiro. Oshiro started the ball game in center field. He's moved over to second base as he has stayed in the ball game. That was actually a really well struck ball. And here comes the first offering from the lefty Kitara, and that misses upstairs for ball one, and the count is 1-0. One thing I can say here about Kitara is he doesn't seem to be efficient with his pitches. Just looks like he really has to work hard to try to get the outs. And there's a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count's now 2-0. He does bring it up pretty good. That last pitch was at 94 miles an hour. So he's got some velocity. Does he have the command of his pitches? Here comes the 2-0 pitch. It's a fastball that misses up and away. The count is now 3-0. You certainly don't want to set the table for the part of the batting order that can do a lot of damage. As the next hitter, Kai Nakagawa, who waits on deck, is already homered tonight. And here comes the pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 3-1. So 3 balls and 1 strike. Our friend Sadi Parsad said, is this game for Orix? Well, we're getting there. As the fastball misses up and away, and that's going to be ball 4 to Oshiro. And he is going to be aboard with a 1-out walk, and that is going to bring up the right fielder, Kai Nakagawa. So Nakagawa on the evening is officially 1 for 4. He's reached base twice. He homered back in the 5th inning, knocking in a pair. He also reached on an error in the 4th, but was erased at home on a fielder's choice. He has flown to center, and he has popped to first. That home run on the year was his 3rd of the season. And it's always the walks that can come back to haunt you. So Nakagawa batting here, and it's going to be Masataka Yoshida to follow should he reach successfully. So here we go. Here comes the first offering from the lefty Kitara. And it kicks and delivers. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. I know people have asked if I would do the Korean League or something along those lines. And the biggest thing for me is I just don't know the players. I don't know the league well enough. Even like, for example, we slipped in the Central League game on the weekend. We did the Giants and the Tigers. I normally call a lot of games in the Pacific League. It's just because there's more familiarity with the league. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's the breaking ball swung on it. It's grounded over to short. It is thrown to second for one. Back to first, but it's offline. It's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be a fielder's choice to erase Oshiro. 6-4 for the second out of the inning. And Nakagawa is aboard on the back end. Very fortunate that they didn't throw it away. The shortstop, Kamikawa Kabata, he bobbled the ball. He dropped to one knee to get the first out, but the return throw was offline. A nice stop by the first baseman, Kiyomiya, who we've been maligning for much of the game because he hasn't had a very good game. Made a decent stop on the Alcantara return throw. So there's now 2 gone, and Masataka Yoshida steps to the plate. Yoshida tonight has been on base twice. He's officially 1 for 4 in the ball game. He's doubled and scored a run. He's also reached on an error and scored a run, so 2 runs scored for him. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and then he hit a fly ball to deep right field that was hauled in on the warning track in the 7th inning. He does have some power. He's one of the league leaders in the Pacific League with home runs. He's got 14 on the year. So Yoshida waiting here on the offering from the left-hander Kitaru. And here comes the pitch. It is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. It's been a good night in the chat tonight. And again, we want to thank everybody for coming in here. It's always fun when you've got a lively chat working in here. Sometimes I remember last year calling games when we started doing this. I thought I was talking to myself some nights. We had our friend Ben Robertson here was quite a bit. We also had a couple others. As here comes the 0-2 pitch from the lefty Kitaru, who kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside. The count is 1-2. We also had our Korean friend in here quite a bit. There was a fellow from Korea who was from Vietnam. We haven't seen him or Ben Roberts. Ben was calling Yokohama his home. A expat who was living over there, and he was doing some work and maybe some schooling. He used to listen in quite regular as well. So here comes the 1-2 offering, and they throw over to first base, and getting back in time is the base runner Nakagawa. But to be able to have a number of people into the chat and having a good chat, that's a great thing. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as Masataka Yoshida waiting here on the offering from Kitaru. As he holds set, he checks the runner, and now he delivers. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is tapped right back to the pitcher. Kitaru bobbles it. He throws to first, and it's not going to be in time. That was an easy inning-ending out, and he ends up juggling the ball. He's not able to complete the throw over to first base in time as Yoshida is going to beat it out. Yoshida is not exactly the fastest, fleetest of foot. We're going to get that one again on the replay. It's the second one here in the inning that almost didn't come. The ball was chopped into the ground. It had a little bit of English on it. And as he went to field the ball, he dropped it. And then by the time he recovered and threw to first base, Yoshida had run through the bag. So that's going to be an error on the pitcher. I don't need the official score to tell me that one. My eyes can work. And if it's not, then I want to have a word with that scorer because he's blind as a bat. So runners are at first and second. And that is going to bring up Sano to the plate. It's going to be his first at bat here. So there's your easy out to get the inning done. And now it's going to be extended here. So Sano at the plate here. And the first pitch is a fastball that misses for ball 1. The count is 1-0. So Kodai Sano On the season, Sano is batting .232. He's got a couple of homers. He's got 9 RBIs. So Sano on here to hit for Yuma Tongu. As the 1-0 offering is about to come on its way from Kitaro. Here's the pitch. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. So for those of you who are thinking that the under was going to be safe, that error there could prove costly, as we talked about earlier. It always just seems to come back and haunt the team that makes the error. That'll make them pay again. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Sano. As he waggles the bat, the lefty shakes off the sign, and here comes the offering from Kataru. He checks the runner over at second. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up and away. The count is now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. And it's just one of those games. You see it and you wonder, is this going to happen? That's exactly what I'm looking at right now. I'm saying, is this going to happen for sure? Are they going to be able to retire the hitter here, or is that error going to make them pay? 3 errors tonight by the Fighters. It has bit them here big time. Here's the 2-1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted into right center field, and moving over underneath it is the right fielder, Kimura, who makes the catch, and that is going to do it here in the 9th inning for the Buffaloes. So that is no runs in the inning. There were no hits. There was an error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 9th inning. Your score is the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters trailing the Orix Buffaloes 5-3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call at the bottom of the 9th inning in just a moment. Well, we got the former Arizona Diamondback coming into the ball game, and Seattle Mariner Yoshi Hirano, as he is going to be taking over here. Hirano is a veteran with the Buffaloes. This is going to be his 41st appearance. He's 2-2 on the year. He's got himself 26 saves. He has worked 38 innings. He's allowed 17 hits. He's walked 8 and struck out 36. He's got a paltry ERA of a 1.18. So Hirano is on the mound here, taking over to close the deal for the Orix Buffaloes. I remember I was talking to a friend of mine in the Diamondbacks organization a few years ago. We were talking about Hirano, and I said, was this a wise decision to get him? And he said, we got him for the minimum, pretty much. They were able to get a couple of good solid years, or 1 good solid year out of the bullpen for him. Kind of like how Sawamura has shown up and given the Boston Red Sox a couple of good seasons so far in Beantown. And so here comes the first offering from Hirano. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It is lifted into deep left field. Moving back onto the warning track, looking up, and this one is gone. A home run by Kosuke Kondo, and that is going to cut the scoreline to 5-4. So for those of you who have the under, your ticket has just exploded. Sorry, fellas. I am really, really sorry. It is now a 5-4 ball game. As that is the first pitch that he sees, he deposits it into the left field stands. And your score is now 5-4 here in the 9th inning. And my chat is just about blown up. So 5-4 is now the score line, and that is going to bring up designated hitter Go Matsumoto. It is the 6, 7, and 8 hitters here that face Hirano in the order, and Kondo deposits the first pitch he sees into the left field bleachers. And here comes the first offering. It's a breaking ball that is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Matsumoto tonight is 2 for 2. He has 2 singles and a walk. He's also driven in a run. And here comes the 0-1 offering. It is a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count is now 0-2 to Matsumoto. Jerry, we appreciate you for being here, and everybody else. We thank you guys for their Pony Express. Wagner says he needed that one. Well, this game may not be over yet. It may go extra innings. who knows? You never know. If they tie the run up, it may go extras. But for those of you who have that there, it's unfortunate. Maybe we let that guy up a little bit too much, and then he ended up getting crushed. Kyle Hubler in here, he's happy about that one. As it's still no balls and 2 strikes to Matsumoto, as the right-hander Hirano is ready to deliver. He kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball down. It squirts away from the catcher. Wakatsuki throws down to first, and that's going to retire Matsumoto on a strikeout, 2-3 for the first out of the inning. Our friend Jerry is on his way here. We appreciate you for stopping in tonight, Jerry. And so Kotaro Kiyomiya comes to the plate. He is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a single and an RBI, but he's grounded into a double play, and he is flown out to left field. There's one gone here, and the first pitch is a ground ball off the pitcher's glove over to the second baseman. They throw to first, and they're going to get there in time. Oh, boy, Hirano almost deflected that ball. It almost got by the second baseman as he had to change direction. It's going to go down as a ground out, 1-4-3 for the second out of the inning, and that is going to leave it all up to Yuma Imagawa. It's hard not to make that play if you are the pitcher there, that's for sure. So 2 gone here in the 9th inning, and Imagawa steps to the plate. He is 0 for 3 tonight. He's reached on an error, he has struck out, and he's popped to the catcher. He's got 9 homers and 36 RBIs, so he does have some pop in the stick. Here's the first pitch from Hirano. It's a breaking ball that misses down for ball 1. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. This game here, maybe it gets tied up and goes extra innings, and they call it because of darkness. Wouldn't that be crazy? There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count is now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. As the right-hander is ready to deliver again, here comes the 2-0 pitch to Imagawa. It's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is now 2-1. One thing I will say about Hirano is though he has a plus fastball, I will say that he has a rather straight pitch. I don't see a lot of movement, not a lot of arm side run, not a lot of cut to his pitch. There is some downward taper, though. There's a fastball swung on, and Imagawa has swung on that and fouled it right into the shin guard. The trainer sprints out of the dugout. Come on, have a look at him. He wears the shin guard on the left leg, but boy, oh boy, he got that one pretty good. The trainer was on a full-on sprint to the plate. If he doesn't wear that where it is, he's probably in a lot more pain. If anybody's ever fouled a 90-mile-an-hour fastball off of their shin, they know what I'm talking about. They're going to hop around like a wild man, that's for sure. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Imagawa gets himself set back in. At the conclusion of this one, we will give you the recap. There's no out-of-town scoreboard for the NPB tonight, as all the games are later starts, so we won't wrap that one. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count's now 3-2 to Imagawa. It's the top of the order that waits on deck. As Ryoma Yachi is waiting his turn. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Here comes the payoff pitch to Imagawa as the right-hander Hirano is ready to deliver again. And here comes the pitch as he holds set. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to third, fielded by Mune. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. A ground out 5-3 ends the ball game here for out number 3. Well, in the inning, there was 1 run. It was the home run by Kondo. 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left aboard. Your final score is the Orix Buffaloes 5, the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters 4. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back to wrap this one up in just a couple moments. Appreciate you there, everybody, for being here tonight. We're going to give you a quick little recap on this one, as this game is a final. The first game of this mini 2-game set ended in a 0-0 tie yesterday through 7 innings, and it looked like we were going to have more of that today. The first 3 innings were shutout baseball for both teams, but then the Orix Buffaloes got things going in their half of the 4th inning. After the first out, it was Kai Nakagawa reached on an error by the third baseman, and then Masataka Yoshida reached on an error by the left fielder Kondo. And up stopped Yuma Tagu, and he had a single. And then Yuma Mune bounced into a fielder's choice, which got Kai Nakagawa thrown out at the plate for the second out of the inning. With 2 outs, up stepped Kenya Wakatsuki, and he hit a 2-run single to knock in Yoshida and Tangu, and that put the Buffaloes up 2-0. Well, just like that, the Fighters responded in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and they responded all with 2 outs. A single by Kamikawa Kabata, then a single to Kondo, then a single by Matsumoto drove in Kamikawa Kabata, a single by Kiyomiya then knocked in Kondo, and after an error by the shortstop allowed Imagawa to reach base, it also cashed in Go Matsumoto, and that put the Fighters up 3-2. That was your score line, and then in top of the 5th inning, a leadoff single by Kotaro Kobayashi. He was sacrificed over to second after Koji Oshiro flew out to right. Kai Nakagawa hit a 2-run homer, but that came after the first baseman, Kiyomiya, misplayed a ball. He didn't catch it, didn't touch it, but the ball dropped in foul territory, and that was able to allow the base runner, or allow the hitter Nakagawa to stay alive, and then he deposited the next pitch for a 2-run homer, and that ended up putting the Buffaloes ahead 4-3. Then up stepped Masataka Yoshida. He hit a double, and then it was followed by a Yuma Tangu double that knocked in Yoshida, and that increased the score to 5-3. Well, that's how the score stayed until the top of the 9th inning. And then as a consolation prize for the Fighters, Kensuke Kondo led off the 9th with a solo shot that cut the lead to 5-4, and that is where this all ended. All right, everybody. Well, once again, we appreciate you guys. And I thank you again for popping into the channel tonight. It's a great day for the channel. We did hit the 1,000 number, and hopefully we can keep it there. Once again, I appreciate you guys who sub to the channel and give us the support. A few notes. Tomorrow we're going to do the Dodgers and the Brewers. So that will go off at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 o'clock Eastern. And then after that, we are going to be working out the schedule. We'll do a few games next week, or a couple games next week, as I will be out of the area. I will be back east, and I'll have to make some stuff on some of those things as well. So once again, everybody, it's been another Last Drafts Baseball video production. Hope you all have a great night. Come on back and see us again later. We are going to be doing some more stuff, not just tomorrow, but also coming up in the next little bit. Have a great night, everybody.